That's my little girl.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Talking About Werewolves, episode 11, Loud Noises Edition.
Loud Noises Edition. Why is the camera slanted? It's a little...
That's my little girl.
Bucky set it up.
So let's blame Bucky.
Yeah,
We're double audioing. Give me 1
welcome
second
back
to
to
fix
Talking
that.
About
Sorry about
Werewolves.
that. There we go. My name is Brian. I'm ANST Apocalypse in Mind's Eye Society. With me is my good friend Iggy. Iggy, introduce yourself.
I don't know about good. We are friends.
Okay.
I know.
Is that better?
And how would you describe your field of expertise?
Awesomeness
It's fair.
at everything. No, I have like roughly 20 years of playing various games and kind of a reputation for pushing the envelope on some of them. So I think I kind of wormed my way into your August company.
That seems fair. And, of course, we have Bucky. Bucky, say hello.
Hello to another exciting edition of It's Still Crooked. Talk about werewolves. We got a lot of things on the agenda
This news has got a slant.
for this episode.
Can you say fake news?
Does that tilt? Like, did I do it?
It is. It is tilted.
You're
It's
fine.
literally slanted. That's fine.
You're fine.
That's fine.
Nobody cares.
All right,
There's less of you on screen, so everybody's happy.
I think you're more in frame now than you were before. At any rate, guys, welcome back. It has been an eventful 2 weeks since we last talked to you. There's been all sorts of stuff that have popped up in the wacky world of live-action role-playing pretending to be werewolves. And we're going to cover some of it.
No.
No?
Yes.
Oh.
One of those.
Oh, that's good. That's good. The first thing to really talk about, and the biggest change I think threw a lot of people for a loop, and I think we've seen a lot of positive and negative feedback about it, is the changes to the XP system.
Yeah. What about them? Because I know nothing. We had our session, and then there were changes to the XP, and I haven't done them yet because I haven't played yet again. So I feel no impetus to do so.
Well, there's another free rewrite, so that's and I think it was pushed out to 4 months instead of 3 if you started 0 day.
Why would I change perfection?
That's a good point. That's a really good point. No. They wanted a better spread of ranks. That was the stated reason.
So they stopped punishing everybody for going above Adrian?
Adrian or above. Bear in mind, the only thing that changes cost is skills.
Okay, so
Backgrounds remain the same. It's not like Vampire. It's just skills were just cheaper if you were lower rank.
So are there any mathematical or any changes I have to make to my character sheet if I am a Kinfolk?
No.
No.
Cleoth?
Nope.
No.
Foster?
Nope.
Adrian?
Yes.
Are those changes beneficial?
Yes.
Athro?
Also yes.
Are the changes
No.
beneficial?
No.
No.
Players who are playing Athros and Elders don't get the advantage on a respec.
So this is just the Adrians.
Wait, I don't understand.
Oh, no, they do. You're right. But you can't...
Yeah.
Sorry. If you already are a rank, Adrian, Athro, Elder,
Yeah?
then you do save some points. But you can't respec and gain rank.
Right.
To that
Yes.
level.
So you're stuck at the rank you picked before.
Plus or minus 1.
Plus or minus 1.
Yeah. Initially, when we rolled out the rules for respecing, we actually didn't include rank at all, which was a complete oversight.
And then some people were like, oh, time to be an elder.
No, it was more my fault because when I was writing it, I forgot.
We blame you anyway.
That's good. I forgot how ranked is different in BNS when I was going over that stuff, and I take responsibility for that. That was my mistake. So we cleaned up that mistake while we were at it.
Yes.
And
Yes, it's his fault.
thank you. So why don't we go over really quickly how this works?
Well, okay. Basically, the long and short of it is you can save yourself.
Up to in a perfect world, if you had a perfect situation, up to 37 XP.
Right, which you won't have. You're going to have as many merits as you have flaws. And what's going to happen is, and apparently people notice this on the spreadsheet anyway, that you can kind of trick the spreadsheet into letting you buy 1 times XP skills and then buy rank, and then it'll let you buy 2 XP skills. So basically, you're going to spend your first 30 XP on skills alone during generation, and then buy rank 3, 4, or 5 with XP, and then rank up immediately. I don't know why it's entirely necessary. I've said a lot. I've said my piece online, but I mean I'll say it now with words. How you doing? Good.
Don't acknowledge her.
Don't engage. Don't engage.
Don't move. As long as you don't move, she can't see you.
So this is T-Rex. Too cute. Here's the thing. It's looking even at sheets I made after these rules, reflecting these rules. When I look back at them, they still look like they wouldn't pass an audit. And because the process is part of basically taking creation and attenuating it into like a multi-stage journey, means that you cannot audit easily at first glance.
You have to log
everything's going to look wrong.
You have to log it.
Right. Well, not just logged. It has to be logged like if
a mathematical formula. Parentheses.
Right. If you spend XP, basically you have to spend your XP like on say the spreadsheet, right? It's gonna say 30 XP skills or like 28 XP skills or how much ever cheap skills you bought is gonna say it on the sheet, and then you're gonna say this was between steps like 11 and 11A or whatever the hell it is for character creation, and then just go on with your sheet. And even then, it's really hard to tell just by looking at it if it's going to be within the boundaries that Mind's Eye Society has set for what is a problem, which is 5, 10, and over 10% being, if you're overspent.
Yeah, and you have to include your rare merits, obviously. Like your rarity merits have to be.
Yeah, your straight creation merits have to be made. Well, which is why I say it's mostly going to be merits and flaws are balanced at that point, because 7 more XP and skills will get you another skill, maybe like 2 or 3 actually, literally 3.
I'm gonna move the mic a little bit closer. They're having some trouble picking you up.
Okay.
So I'm gonna move the mic a smidge closer.
Yeah, you can put it on the table. We just won't try to hit the table so much.
Move your feet. Move your seat.
Oh my, I've been replaced. So it is with generations. I
don't want her touching your e-cig. She'll start vaping, and I have to call her Chad and get her a trilby.
Chad! I don't even own a trilby. Alright, mic check. Are we better? Somebody in chat give us a sign that we don't suck, and Bucky talk, because you're the one who sucks.
Oh, yeah. I was just expounding on the problems of the new XP system. Anybody?
It's good.
Sounds good?
Yep, you're good. Okay, everybody's happy.
All right, just don't lean against the table because you keep shaking the camera.
There is some problem.
He's doing it too.
Yeah, sorry. It would have been better if we had done this at launch and before launch, so that all the spreadsheets were nice and ready to go. But we had a problem where basically 90% of sheets were running Fostern, and some people were building sheets using an interpretation of the rules that let them buy rank last.
That is just cheating. Because it would be cheating in Vampire, and they even when they made this, they were like, we're not going to allow this in Vampire or have a Diablerie in your creation story, even though you could do that normally. Mm-hmm. It would just be like, I bought 3 dots of gen. How did I get there? Oh, I got it through Diablerie. That's fine. But there's no step 11 to step 11A Diablerie that they're not allowing. So that attenuation, or that is a distinction without a difference. It's a meaningless statement.
I agree with that. Like, I don't think in any way, shape, or form was that ever legal.
Yeah, no, that was not okay.
It was good to close that loophole.
Yeah, which is fine. It's the spending thing puts an incredible onus on staff, who should be looking, at least when they're auditing sheets, if anybody even does that other than me. Being able to see that the sheet's kosher, and if it's not, so much as 5%. I mean, if you're talking 30 XP on a starting character. That could be almost 100% of their XP. I mean, you could do it with like your tune can be MC1, and if you do this wrong, you could be 50% off, and that would be considered what? A severe infraction? Mm-hmm. I would have liked some kind of more elegant solution, but more importantly, this is Werewolf. It's not Vampire. You don't have to eat your way up. And much like in last continuity, most people started at lower rank, and then through the course of the game they role played, they got renown, and then they ranked up. Mm-hmm. And I don't think anybody ever said like it's a terrible thing that we have to start, or like there's a mild mechanical disadvantage to being high rank.
I don't know if it's mild.
Well, I think
it's only skills.
The real
wait. I have to jump.
Oh, please.
If it's only a mild disadvantage, how come it affected that large chunk of the player base? Are you calling each and every one of those people who refuse to go above Foster and min-maxers? or are you saying that it? Or are you willing to admit that it was a significant enough disadvantage that the majority of our player base looked at it and said, "Pass, bro."
Well, what's the rush? No. It's a different logos. It's not necessarily. If you wanted, here's the thing: if you want the incumbency, right? If you want to be the person who's already sept alpha or
weak.
already in a
but
position,
they're inherently weaker because the person who was willing to lay in the cut. No, the person who's willing to lay in the cut, get the speeds, bump their skills, then then in a month face roll whoever started rank 4.
You still have more traits than them as an elder.
Yeah, but they go on their quests, and by the time they're done with their quests, they're better than you.
I mean, it can't be done sooner than 6 months.
Yeah.
So that's the first part where I'm going to disagree with you. You get 6 months of stewardship over the entire game.
Yeah.
I think that's worth a couple of XP lost on. I don't
enough,
and it's only skills. It's not even skills and backgrounds and other.
Well, enough of the game disagreed with you that we had to do this.
What I will say is that when we look at every game in the org, when you look at the big picture, what happened is that in almost every game, we weren't talking about there weren't enough Adrians to fill all the council slots, because that's 6 slots. That's asking a lot. In many, if not most games, we're talking about we weren't even doing full half of the slots with Adrian Plus, which by the book, so we're already demolishing genre there. So in that sense, having more Adrian is objectively better for the game at start.
And I think that there could have been a more elegant solution than this, which makes every sheet look like it's been tabulated wrong and almost impossible to check. I mean, again, you're going to have to recreate the sheet as they've made the sheet, going through their XP log, because if you can't do that, all you're going to see is that they're well over 5 or 10% off in their XP expenditure. And there's just no way to tell. I mean, like, I'm not a mathematician, no lies, but usually I could look at a sheet and be like, this looks kosher, right? But if you look at sheets made under these rules, there's no way to do that.
Well, I think one thing this does definitely show is that you guys don't always agree with the things I do, and that's 1,000%.
Wait,
cool.
this was all you?
This is from my office. This is from NST's office.
No, I agree with what you're doing. I agree totally with the logos. I'm like, it's enough of a penalty that the people in our game who went Adrian, 1 Athro, 2 Athros, and 1 Elder were like, I'm gonna have to scramble. Like, I got 6 months to set it up so that people don't want to boot me. Yeah. Because I won't stand a chance of somebody who's taking the time to lay in the cut, get the XPs, get the skills, use that time to quest while they're spending the XPs to get the skills, and then when they can challenge me, I don't stand a chance.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's entirely true. So you get your core skills at whatever you want them at, because you're going to generally have XP to get your 2 or 3 skills you absolutely need full time.
Unless you go Elder.
No, even as an Elder, you can still get there.
2 MC1 sheets doing the same thing, except 1 goes to Elder and 1 stays Foster. That Foster in 10 months is going to roll that Elder.
Well, that's at MC1.
Right.
The average player in the org, for what it's worth, is at MC7.
Okay.
Your average player in the org is at MC7.
Average?
That is average.
All right, so 2 MC7 players. The same starting point is what I'm saying. The same starting point gives an advantage to somebody who stays fostered, spends it on spends it on skills, and then waits the 6 months and spends it on skills and abilities and all that stuff as they wait and as they rank up, and then comes to that Elder who's been hamstringed by his XP rules.
Yeah. Oh, let me interject because I see the chat freaking out. I'm MC7.
Oh, I'm MC 6 now.
Iggy, you're MC1.
Yeah, he's never bothered with any of it.
If you need XP to be good, you're not that good.
But if 2 players are equally good,
call it throne against internet. Take that.
Make an MC1 character and see how well you do. Play life on expert.
Challenging. Well, you
Play the game
definitely
on
had
expert.
a good run last chronology.
Yeah, last chronology I came midway through with an MC1 character and I did pretty well. If you want to play the game on expert, I will give you mad props. If you want to come in MC 37 billion, and I'm just like, all right, you came in with 6 trillion XP. Good for you. I don't know.
I will say,
we have opinions.
You can get to MC3 pretty much your first weekend, so I do understand why 1 is a little. One shows that you didn't just want to do anything.
You had to try to stay at 1.
Yes,
I couldn't fit in between my binging and my drinking.
That's that's fair.
The other thing to keep in mind is, and people are saying, oh my god, it's going to take me so long to get Elder. One thing I would say is if you have a concept that needs to be Elder, you can just roll an Elder.
You should start Elder. But most concepts don't require Elder.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. And nowadays, it's not like before where you have to hit level 70 before you start earning prestige. Well, you're earning prestige levels when you max out.
There were two
WoW,
walls.
the game starts at 60, right?
Right, but it's not like that anymore.
When people had intermediate, with basic, intermediate, and advanced gifts, you had basically a wall between Adrian and
there was
Adrian
no
mattered.
conversation between
you didn't
Foster
matter
and Adrian.
If you were a Foster, you didn't. I mean,
You didn't speak when Adrian spoke because
Right,
they would
because
reach over and
they
crush
could
you.
crush you like
because
nothing.
they had full access to intermediate gifts, and then the Adrian and Athro had to shut the fuck up around elders because elders would destroy you.
And
the elder gifts in that game, which had two walls between them and starting characters, were basically just
It was
death
games.
sentences.
It was 2 different games.
an averagely designed Elder sheet versus a Cleoth Red Talon Bite monster. Who wins that fight? I mean, that's what I'm saying, is that the Cleoth isn't as far behind as they used to be.
Oh, now.
No.
we're
We're talking the old system.
No, I'm saying
talking
now.
revised.
I'm saying where we are now.
No, but we're building up the difference in the old game.
Yeah.
Now-
Because like there was a specific Elder that was hated in our game, and there was some talking about like, hey, let's just go there and kill him. And I'm like, you play a lot of Vamp. Do you mean
Yeah,
like
that's-
challenge? Do you mean like challenge him because you'll get crushed? And they're like, no, let's just take 2 packs over there, and then in the middle of the night kill him. And I'm like, this Elder could kill any combination of 10 PCs from our game.
And if he doesn't want to be there, he'll just leave.
Yeah,
Just
But
let
he
me know.
but he won't just leave.
Oh,
he'll
now
just
that the
kill any
mic's
10
gone.
characters.
I think I can actually put the camera.
And
in the middle.
and he won't just leave. He'll just kill any combination of 10 characters you
Bucky's
sent
adjusting
there.
the camera. Please hold.
Well, now I have a migraine. I'm
How's
motion
that?
sick.
No, back this way. This way.
Can't it?
Stop.
Can't it? There you go.
All right.
So that's not a thing that can happen in this game. You can be the elder biggest dickus and throw down your stick and say that this is the way it
That
is.
just feels so much better now that like it's not
That's
visibly crooked.
That's
But
fine.
yes,
But you can try that now, and you'll get challenged by one Cleoth, and then a Foster, and then an Adrian, then a Cleoth again, and a Foster, and they will eventually beat you. Like, just one at a time. One of them will get the right series of chops and wax you. Something that was impossible the last game.
that's true, and that was also true in Vampire. You could have bloviating PCs or NPCs with Aegis and a bunch of other
And for some
Like-
reason, they were Tremere.
stuff, and then you're like, you just can't kill this guy. It's gonna take all night.
You would get bored.
BNS is a little bit quicker when the kill boxes stay small. When the kill boxes are huge, I mean,
It's always a nightmare.
it's there's a certain point where ST should be like cutting off both sides. Be like, you've got your 2 bodyguards, you've got your 3 friends. We're not allowing other people into this party because it'll take all night to run.
I call it the fog of Boar. Nobody knows what's going on.
Right.
Fog of Boar.
When between celerity actions, you can go and get a slice of pizza and have a cigarette and then come back and
Just leave
You're
and go-
not even at the end of celerity actions.
Leave
You're
and
just
go
like, all right,
vape.
I just want to not be there for that. And I love combat, but I like punchy, quick, well-run combat that doesn't take all night.
You like it hard and fast.
I like it hard and fast. I do.
All right, so to keep us on task a little bit, maybe 30
Now the
XP
ladies in
difference.
the other,
What do you got? Final verdict. Good idea, bad idea.
I mean, it works out. It's okay. I used it when making... Oh, by the way, we should have put a table of contents at the beginning of this video of what we're going to talk about tonight.
Well, I'm
do that
gonna
right
add
after
it
this.
afterwards. I'll add it afterwards.
Yeah, it was okay. It would have been a little bit more expensive to do, but I think the character would have ultimately been the same. They just are even more powerful as... I rolled an Adrian.
Same.
And as an Adrian, there were some... It was convenient to get a couple skills up to 5 that I knew they'd need every session, and then just not worry about it. And then that left room for probably 2 to 3 more gifts.
Okay.
What was it, like world breaking and night and day? I don't really think so, especially considering your first 3 sessions at any game
Don't count.
Right, you're gonna show
Just
up.
don't die.
You're gonna have to introduce yourself. You're gonna meet a bunch of people. You're gonna hang out in a cairn. That's usually session 1. I don't care how established the game is. This could be year 2.
Next session, you come back in. Everybody reintroduces themselves because you've forgotten everybody.
Right, 3 people have rewritten their sheets.
There's one combat, and nobody knows how the rules
What
go.
auspice are you again? Because we're looking for our pack. Are you a Galliard?
What's going on?
All right, Iggy, same question. Yes or no?
Yes or no? What?
That's where we
I
started
lost.
last time. The XP rule change.
I'm for it.
For it?
Oh, is that what we were asked for or against?
Yes.
I'm pro.
Oh, I'm not capable of answering yes or no questions unless literally under
No, I know.
cross-examination.
800 words later, I saw that.
It is yes, but it is yes with the caveat that you'll be sorry a year from now when you can't prove somebody's cheating that is cheating.
Well, you can prove it. Just takes longer. It's just
It
more
takes... I don't...
It went
It's
from being
rough.
a serious infraction. Oh, I made a mistake. It was the rules.
Well, it just means no one's going to do it. The way that institutions are affected in a certain way by rules like this. And I don't mean like I'm not throwing shade at any of the LARPing thing. I'm talking about just normal human institutions, courts. I don't care what. If there's a common error that people are just so used to, they're going to look at anything and they're going to be like, it's within X. And I don't want to be bothered, and they're not going to look at it. And the problem is that X is so far and beyond what is in the MES handbook to advise what STs are responsible to do and what players are responsible for as to make the rule laughable. Because every sheet of Adrian or higher within the first 3 months will look like it's cheating easily 10 to 25% of their XP. Because it doesn't look right.
I've got to revamp my sheet.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not going to look right. You're like, how did he get 3 skills at 5? And all these gifts. Like, none of this adds... And then you're going to be like, oh, right, because of this rule. And then you're going to have to pull the player and be like, I need you to recreate your sheet now.
Walk me through it.
Walk me through it.
And to which I will say, like...
I mean, don't get me wrong. The spreadsheet has a lot of lines. You could probably just write it all down. And that's fine.
And then I'll say, like,
please,
most of the
if
people...
you're going to do it.
Most of the people in my game will say the same thing. Ask Bucky. He did it.
I don't write other... Except for this contest. I do not write other people's
It
sheets.
wasn't a contest. There's no prize.
The prize was
a sheet written by us luminaries and sages.
Oh my God. These are terrible prizes.
They're no prize. This is a no prize.
I made a fun character.
We're going to make a fun character. That we're going to argue over. Actually, I was looking for more to the argument than anything else.
I don't think it's that big a deal. I said online, it's kind of shrug-worthy. My only concern, not the game one,
Do you like
not
how
the
Brian
XP
had
one,
to bring his fucking book?
just to lord it over
You
us.
can't even see it on screen. Only we can.
You can feel its weight, though.
I can't see its cover, though,
it's-
because I'm a freaking pleb, and I'm not allowed to see its cover. I can't let its
I don't want you
glorious
judging
countenance
the book.
gaze upon
I don't want you to
down
judge the
upon
book.
me.
But yeah, other than making auditing even less existent than it has ever been, I don't think it's a big deal. As far as the auditing thing, it's the apocalypse.
There's one
a
accountant
catastrophe.
there's one accountant that's an MES VST that's just like
Finally!
it's my turn, baby.
And it might be that there's a good spreadsheet way to resolve this issue. We'll see. I mean, these issues have a way of being worked out.
By combat, trial by
Moving on to next
Right.
topic.
Yeah. Let's talk about what we're going to talk about because I remember a lot of people.
We're already a
especially-
half hour into the episode, so that
It's
might
too
not be
late.
optimal.
Okay. What do we have next?
Reassessing demographics.
What?
We're a month in, and we're seeing some things that we didn't really expect. It's kind of interesting. Storytellers are coming back and saying they're seeing things that they didn't expect from pregame.
Yeah, I don't know how much of it is.
It's
I
purely anecdotal right now.
I wouldn't know any of this.
Yeah, we don't have any data for. Well, you're on the Facebook groups. There's whole people saying, I thought it was going to be a concorded heavy game. I came back and
It is a concordant
my-
heavy game.
my game's all Sanctum Gaia now.
It is a concordant heavy game. I've noticed. What I've heard through the grapevine and my illegitimate back channels and unofficial listservs. Hey, Brian, is that
I will stab you in the face.
Fucking, it'll make me prettier. There's nothing you can do to this masterpiece. Is that the games that are Sanctum are almost all Sanctum, and then the games that are like looks at first glance that they'd be 50-50, all skewed concordant once you took in the Pharaoh.
That's one thing I thought might happen, and I really didn't want to say it, was my concern that VSSs would just swing hard one way or the other.
I did what I could to make sure it happened here.
Thank you. I think it's actually not great because it'll lead to people feeling insular and feeling
Well, the
defensive about other games, interacting with them.
If you have a whole game that's really Sanctum heavy, and you want to play like a Nuisha, you're basically saying you're going to be alone in a room a lot. Which,
Hey, Giovanni.
I don't think, but I choose that. You know, you choose to be independent. You weren't told that you would also be hanging out with the camis all the time. But it would be like, if you're in a Sabat game, and suddenly you can play a regular Giovanni, you would go into that game knowing you are not interacting with the rest of this game, because most of them are going to murder you, or they just don't want to see. Mm-hmm. I don't think that all the players that wanted Concordat or Farah that can join packs and stuff necessarily bought into that level of politics just because that's the way the VSS shook down.
But not every Sanctum player is like that. There's Sanctum players that are
No, but I'm saying that cuts the other way too. If it's a super Concordat heavy game, and like
Actually, I see the bigotry cutting the other way more. Like I would hate to be the only Sanctum player in a Concordat game. I think it would be lonelier.
It would be weird.
I think it would be lonelier.
The loneliest young Republican at the
Yeah,
mixer.
that's what it basically is.
They're like, why are you so conservative? Get out of here.
You're the young Republican at Berkeley.
Yeah, you're like, go back to your shitlord club.
You get maced, and you're just like, all I wanted to do was talk about Bitcoin.
Yeah, the hat says make Bitcoin great. Yeah, I'm interested to see how much of it actually pans out. That there is these demographic shit, but it's hard to tell.
I don't think any of this matters. I don't think any of this matters until the first 6 months. After
we're in the Great Sword right now. The Great Sword is going on.
The sorting hat is on.
Everybody gets about 2 sessions.
Well, no, because we still don't know who the IC leadership is going to be. We have no idea what that's going to look like. We have no idea what the geographical lines are going to look like. All that stuff is sorting that's going to happen naturally over the next few months.
Well, and tunes are going to die. Once the kid gloves are off and people understand what their sheets can do and what the bad guys can do.
That's actually the other way around. If you want to gag somebody, because you know...
I mean, do it now.
Yeah, now's the time, because they won't even know how to respond
with their sheet. This is bad sportsmanship, you guys.
I came to win. I did it, actually.
Well, here's the thing. And this is, I guess, more talking, almost segueing into Vampire. One of the reasons I wanted their wall to fall earlier.
Well, I was gonna have a Vampire minute.
Twitch with my phone so I can see what the stream is doing.
Just go to Twitch. Just go to the Twitch app.
Table. Sorry.
I will stop touching the table if you put your vape down for the rest of the sesh.
It's not worth it. It doesn't hurt my experience. It hurts them. What?
The other thing...
You segue.
All right, I'm going to segue a little bit. Well, we're going to get back to Vampire a little... We're going to talk a little smidge about Vampire, but we're not quite there yet. One thing, because of a huge logistical error on my part, we lost episodes 3 through 7. They are gone forever unless a copy of them shows up somewhere. If you happen to have a downloaded audio rip, please give us a copy.
Check your iPods.
Check your iPods and your Zunes. Don't forget to look on your Zune.
Look on your Zune to see if you save the file.
Look, if
I'm old.
If you have a Sound Blaster Nomad, for the love of God, I want you to check that to make sure.
I swear that's word salad, and he just had a stroke.
Smell
toast?
No, I need you to check the flax on your Sound Blaster Nomad and see if you have a saved copy of the old episodes.
Wow.
I don't know why, but I hate you.
Those are words that just happened.
But since you probably don't, and we lost a lot of important stuff that we really want people to have available as a resource, we do want to start recovering Tribes and Farah again. At least quickly, to give people a sense of them.
Why quickly? Well, let's just go in depth on one each.
Let's do one each every week. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm fine with that. How does TV Land feel about that?
Yeah, what do you guys want? Do you want like
I will,
a bonus episode?
I will call our audience the Moot.
Oh, we're calling a Moot here?
No, the audience is the Moot. What does the rest of the Moot feel about this? You are the tale singer, Brian.
Am I?
Yes.
Am I the teller of
tales? You were the fool.
Oh.
That's fair. And we all get quiet as we watch the chat log.
Yeah, why not?
Dead Air, everyone loves. This is podcast dynamite right now.
Yeah, no, people love Dead Air.
I'm for it.
So,
especially folks listening in their cars. What else do we have? Because we can get back to this as people type.
Yeah.
What's the next subject?
Sheets reviewers and having a Talking About Vampires minute.
Okay, well, let's switch order because we want to do Sheets last as part of our reveal and discussion. We're going to make
Also, Iron Fist really sucked.
I haven't watched it.
That could be an entire different supplementary show. We could do like other gaming streamers do and have our own channels where we just rage on things.
I have not watched Iron Fist for the same reason I didn't see Doctor Strange.
What's that?
Poor rich white guy triumphs. Like, I need that story.
Fair enough. Anything else that I've seen come? I've got a lot of rules questions. By the way, rules team. If anybody on the rules team is watching, you got about 8 forms from me, all in one night.
Please keep ignoring them.
Ignore them.
Just don't respond to anything he's saying.
Do not look directly at Bucky.
I've got another.
If you acknowledge him, he'll only be encouraged.
He'll gain power.
I don't want to. It's not like I sent them in to bust your chops. Is all I'm saying, rules guys. It's not personal. Just these people ask me these questions as if I have authority to answer them, and I don't. I can give my opinion, which is a lay opinion, but they need to go to the professionals and the people who actually.
They're getting paid?
They need to go to the people whose job it is.
Okay.
Who have volunteered to do a relatively thankless service and get yelled at.
It is pretty much the worst job. I try to just every time I talk to the rules guys, I'm like, oh my god, thank you for what you do, because that is not an easy job. That is a terrible job. It's worse than my job, and that's saying something.
That's fair.
So let's spend say 15 minutes talking about Ajaba. Let's refresh ourselves and go over what's great about the Ajaba.
They're players.
Well, now we can say that. We couldn't say that
Like,
before.
reflexively.
Fair enough.
One particular player impressed me a lot. Actually, several of the Ajaba, every Ajaba player I came across was awesome.
Tell me about this. Yeah.
I don't want to say her name specifically. How do you say Stephanie Day in Pig Latin? Real quick, just throw that to me. She was awesome.
Jesus Christ.
That's good. That's good. I like
good.
that.
No. There was a combat. Her as a player, she knew her powers. She is very co-op. She worked well. Before and after the combat scene, I was involved with her at the convention. Mm-hmm. She was portrayed like her costuming was on point. She portrayed her character well. I think I got a feel for her character, and then she proved to me that they are scary in combat. Then I talked to a bunch of Ajaba players post that on, I think it was Friday night.
I think that last point almost goes to that. Ajaba are terrifying in combat.
It's one thing to know that in theory, if these situations come up, they're scary. But it's like, no, her bite, super scary. And she's going to hit. Like,
I saw a lot of storytellers seemingly realize for the first time how terrifying Ajaba are. That they're, in a lot of ways, just better.
Yeah.
They're amazeballs.
Oh, yeah. Their Krynos is just flat better than the Werewolves Krynos.
Why is that?
The bite damage?
Yeah. They get just as much... They have just as much skill they could use in the same or different... Well, I think one category might be different. And +1 bite damage. It is just +1 damage better. Mathematically, objectively, I guess would be the word I'd use.
That's very crunchy. That's good.
What else? Their gifts?
Well, let's talk about their merits first. I got it right in front of me. Ridicule.
I didn't get to see that one in action, though. I plan on the Ajaba that I'm going to be submitting later tonight.
Is that the Renown game?
Yeah.
Is the Renown game one, and I kind of want to play a Renown game Ajaba because there's a lot of the women have the beef covered in the Ajaba players I've seen. They have the meat. They come with the thunder. So maybe kind of a ridicule-y Renown game Ajaba is where I could be more helpful.
Maybe.
I didn't see that one get played, and I know that one has potential.
Well,
to be clear, we're talking about their 1-point merit Ridicule, which allows you to ignore a usage of Renown against you.
Which can be huge.
It's like, nah, bro.
You're like, hey, back off. And you're like, no. Being able to say no to things is always a huge thing to have in your toolbox.
Especially like some players are built around using Renown and then being able to say left swipe. I'm not about that.
Yeah.
Left swipe is my new Ajaba D name.
Swipe left.
Swipe left. Swipe left.
What's their 2-pointer?
2-pointer, Bringer of Reigns. This is the one everybody talks about. This is your
I saw this one the most. The third one I didn't see
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You do bonus damage to whoever's slowest.
No,
you get a +2 wild
you're
card.
up to hit them when they're slower,
Yeah.
and then they have things.
Their
to
gifts manipulate that.
Yeah, they're
And they have a yes. When they hit you, you slow
and
down.
I'm not going to say which Ajaba I saw using it, but one of the people I saw in combat as an Ajaba had Bringer of Rain, and then their fetishes just had harrying.
Yeah.
Talk about what that effect would do.
Well, it drops their initiative -2. So if you hit them,
That's a lot of initiative penalty.
and now that they're down, you're up traits to hit them, and you're more likely to get that what you call them,
Bonus damage.
the exceptional success.
Yeah. Well, why is having such better initiative so good?
Because
It depends on your ST.
having better initiative is good in this particular merit. It puts you up traits in the challenge, which lets you get the exceptional success, which lets you hurt them more with the things you try to hit them with.
Okay, that makes sense.
So it's a chaining of effects. Also, letting your entire pack go before they get to swing once is hilarious.
Yeah.
Yes, that is true.
High initiative is good. It depends on how actions are declared. Okay, one difference between BNS and the old rules, even though that there is sort of other people who enjoy Shadowrun were also involved in this.
I'm going to get you to a support group.
When you go up, when you declare up and actions go down, so your people with lowest have to declare first, so the people with higher initiative can then respond to all of that to reflect their speed. And then in the old system, there was a penalty to changing your action. Well, none of that. There's really no declarations like that anymore. You just sort of go when you go, and a bunch of powers just time travel. So going first is sweet for the reason that going first is sweet. You hit first. I mean, that's cool. But there's a lot of things that just ignore initiative to the point where high initiatives, it's good, but it's not like other game good, where it can be like definingly good. You know what I mean? Somebody else can still just be like, oh no, you jumped our Theurge who has no combat powers. I aid defender. Like, I can do that outside of initiative. I don't care how fast you are. So
yeah. Third one is Devourer of Death.
it's garbage.
Yeah, it's a garbage merit.
It's a garbage merit.
It's garbage.
Like many of the
this is a 3-point merit that lets you eat dead things and get Gnosis back.
I mean,
tell me why I think it's garbage.
You can have Gnosis. You can get Gnosis in other ways. I mean, like if your build is pure, I want to gain Gnosis and then somehow transfer it or only use it for certain things, there are better ways to get Gnosis than spending the only 3 merit points you'll have left after being in Ajaba.
Yeah, it's
if you
can take those 3 XP and you could buy Spirit Pack 2 and it would be better.
If you didn't have to pay for the rarity to be in Ajaba, then I could see you picking that and nothing else, and then going off into obscure Gnosis build. But if you're spending 4 points to be in
that's fair. That's very fair. Yeah.
But if you're spending 4 points to be in Ajaba, you got 3 points left.
Yeah.
You can either go 2 of them into Devourer and then 1 point somewhere else. 2 of them into Bringer of Rain and then 1 point somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
1 of them into the Renown. Spend 2 points in social merits to make the Renown game funner for you. Or you could spend everything else into eating things and getting Gnosis. And then the rest of your combination has to depend on fetishes and gifts.
If you got it from bites, not just eating dead things, it might be worth it.
Somebody just suggested that early on, turn 1 to 3 of combat, you might actually want to go second to get hit for that extra rage.
Oh, no, don't get me wrong. Delaying your action is still almost more important than going first. Delaying your... Not only is delaying your action hugely strategically advantaged just because there are no action declarations, so holding your action is awesome. It's also counters Ajaba because the person going last is not necessarily the person with the lowest initiative, so all their powers are wasted if they're like, oh, he hasn't gone yet. I hit him with my kill hammer. Well, you don't get any of your traits or any of your bonus damage, and they're like, damn it.
They should be paying better attention.
Right. Or use one of the other sense gifts to get their initiative or something.
All right.
But the other thing is, if you hold your action for the entire round, if you're really just sort of on Overwatch or sniping or whatever,
and
you get
all the other slots are filled, which is something that happens in this game.
Right, get +5 on next round.
I saw somebody get irritated in one of the combats where they were a Fighty McFight slot from Punchville, Pennsylvania, and all the physical slots were taken up on the big bad they were hitting.
Well, they'll get to hit him next round.
You can either stop and get +5 traits, or you should do something that includes you aiding defender,
People forget about how deathly important and powerful Assist Defender is. Assist Defender is insanely good.
From PCs.
From PCs. Oh yeah, NPCs it's one trade. Who cares? But for
stock
PCs,
yeah.
But from PCs, oh, it's good.
If you don't,
it fills a slot for both of you, for God's sake.
If you don't have something to do, if you look at a combat situation and both physical slots are taken, and you say I don't have anything to do, you either have an incredibly poorly constructed character, you're just not that creative, or both.
Wait. Or there's too many of you. That can be a problem.
No, like if it's a 30-on-1 gangbang, it's still you're going to be bored.
That's not a combat. That's a mugging.
Well,
but like
right.
if you're in an action,
this is a problem that happens in scenes, especially less so locally.
If you're 30 on one, then one of you should go like, I'm the 30th dude. I'm gonna go take a look around real quick and do something that the other people aren't doing. Be more creative than standing in line to punch the thing.
Well. It's one of the issues of being the guy who punches the thing.
Well, I mean, even if you're the guy who punches the thing, you could be like, well, I'm the guy that's going to go around and make sure there's nothing else to punch. Or I'm going to aid defender. Or I'm going to assist Punchy McPunch-a-Lot Jr.
Assisting is a lot more lackluster.
It is lackluster, but
Attacker.
there is always... Assist attacker, but there's always something to do if you're clever and your sheet isn't garbage.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. These are all true statements. The muggings happen, and they're pretty common at con events.
If you're in a mugging and it's 17 on 1, go make sure that his friends aren't coming.
Ajaba 1, Mask of Night. Thoughts?
Which one's Mask of Night?
Changing the face.
Spendinosis look like somebody different.
It's cheaper than Coyote's Mantle, so it's good.
It's okay.
It is objectively good.
It's okay. Why would you want to look like anything other than an Ajaba?
Well, if you never look like yourself, you can prevent anyone from ever having familiarity.
And if you have the focus, you immediately cut familiarity.
Yeah.
No, just let them come. Have you seen what they're like in combat? Let them come.
Have you seen Wendigo we've designed? Preventing familiarity is... I mean, if no one can be familiar with you, you're immune to a lot of stuff.
Level 2, Feral Laughter.
This goes with the renowned merit. Like, those two... Hand in glove.
Social Int versus Social Will. Spendinosis, standard action. Terrifying Laugh. Attempt to oppose that one. Spending the post challenge against all opponents within 5 steps. If you succeed, all those targets immediately begin to laugh and howl along with you. Until the next turn, they cannot benefit from any form of supernatural concealment or mundane stealth. Any opponent already under supernatural concealment must also make this challenge and immediately drops out of concealment if they fail.
It's why Ajaba are so good at protecting care.
And if you get an exceptional, they can't attack you. And if you have minute focus, it lasts 2 turns.
Oh, I was thinking of the other one.
Yeah. But this is still
really
the 5-step thing. If you have a feeling somebody's well, careful with your meta, kids. Careful with your meta. But
I always make people laugh everywhere I go.
Yeah, but do you always spend a gnosis?
Do I always spend a gnosis?
That's the problem.
Yeah, and then I eat meat. Oh wait, no one has that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's insanely powerful.
If you're in combat,
shutting down,
you should do it.
Well, first of all, just to shut down the people around you. It's the out of combat use to catch people in stealth that I think is.
If you're the because I could see Ajaba bodyguard builds. Like I'm in a pack of Ajaba. There's 3 of us. What do? We basically rent ourselves out to people whose position we agree with, who think they're gonna get face rolled at cons.
There's so many bodyguards in this camp.
Yeah, but like this isn't just like bodyguard like characters. It's like we come with a set, and all we do is slow. We don't beat them. We just slow them down enough that you can get away, and we make sure no one can sneak up.
I will say, as a broad archetype, to branch out for a second, the bodyguard concept of it being a role, an active role you can take in game. Like, what's your role in concept? I mean, we had things like SAP, DPS, tank, all things like that. But bodyguard is new.
Yeah,
bodyguard is a new thing.
Which is why everybody's into it.
Everybody saw it though, and was like, "Oh."
It was like there's a section in the book that talks about how good it is to be a bodyguard. This is something that emerges out of the rules.
It came organically when people saw how biased the game was towards dodge, baleful, and assist defender, and those 3 things came together. So you've got cogs, stargazers, and Ajaba, who are like, I will protect you, little buddy. you do the Theurge things.
You know what I see this as, and we have barely mentioned them. This is to shit in a Ratkin's day.
Why Ratkin?
Because the Ratkin, if you're gonna play a Ratkin, you're gonna play either like the odd tinfoil hat type, the odd tinfoil hatty type, or you're gonna be like, I'm the silent ninja death assassin with poisons, and that ruins their day.
they have a way of getting behind people. Well, they're going to be willpower intensive or have skillful fetishes. I think movement is something that we should probably go over at some point. Because
You think
I think
combat's always something we
Well,
should
let's
go
go
over at
through
some
these
point.
disciplines. We have a few more to go through. Number 3 is Fall from Grace, mental awareness versus mental willpower. And if you win, spend a Gnosis, and it's a -5 or -10 penalty to their initiative.
Yeah, it looks like I got that +2 bonus to hit you.
I mean, if you hit somebody with -10, you can confidently say that they have the lowest initiative. Like, unless they're next to a new sheet who went social primary, I guess it's the only way to get 5. Otherwise, you can't have less than 5. Like, this is no way to do it.
This plays into all the other stuff which you already talked about. There's not much more to say about it. Level 4, on the other hand, I think is untapped for awesome so far.
Really?
Rending Jaws.
Why?
Well, you spend a Gnosis. It's a physical brawl versus physical dodge. If your bite gets through, you sap a willpower.
Here's where I disagree. Wendigo get that power 1 level lower that you can get with a merit. You can't get the Ajaba version. Much like BSD 5 being absolutely unfettered garbage. This is an example of something that I felt like they thought they needed to have, but it's overpriced.
Well, I think BSDs will be the very Guru tribe we talked about today. Because we haven't really talked about them.
Oh yeah, no, we could
I
do
don't know
that.
shit about them, so
Yeah.
I do better when I
Yeah.
don't know what I'm doing, which is most of
And level 5 is marked for death. Mental intimidation versus mental willpower. 2 points in Gnosis, standard action, and whoop. If you succeed, your target cannot benefit from any helpful powers, including healing and get in this.
Game.
It's 15 minutes. They cannot be assisted.
Game.
Well, yeah, much like
And with a Wits focus, you can target 3 people.
Game.
yeah, it's up there with Hobbling Strike. It's just like, well,
Hey, you know all those
just
bodyguard
tear my
builds?
character
You know all
into-
those bodyguard builds
Yeah,
that you
shut
have surrounding
that
you?
whole metagame.
It
is
doesn't
just-
matter that they're surrounding you. I'm still coming
Yeah.
for that ass.
right.
I'm using a lot of profanity today. I'd like to
Yeah.
apologize.
All of your
That's untoward.
why are you hitting yourself cogs with who dipped Stargazer are gonna just watch their friend die.
Your whole point of assist defender
Is
stop.
shut down my
and the
guy.
only thing you can do is hit me, and you're terrible at that.
Generally speaking, yes. Because you need a lot of in order to be the dodge monster, you need not just gifts, but you also need merits. And that's one of the reasons why I tell people don't just be a one-trick pony. Any trick, I don't care what the trick is, don't just be a one-trick
Final
pony.
thoughts on the Ajaba?
Amazing
They're
or
great.
awesomer.
Except for their level 3 merit.
They're level 3 merits garbage, and they're level 4. Putting people in a Harano.
If you
really-
ever running in a hottie game where they were a no point... No, I'm serious. If you're running in a hottie, like a special one-shot, or like you had a hottie campaign for some
A
reason.
quest.
Yeah. Because they
Come
have
up.
0 point rarity, I think that merit has a role. I just don't think as your only merit that has a role.
Yeah.
And that's the issue. But yeah, so you get a bunch of the gifts that the Ajaba get. You find something to replace 4, maybe.
Well, 4 also gives you Contagious Hirano, right?
Yeah.
That's why 4
If you
is
drain them
good.
to 0 willpower, yeah.
Yeah.
But if you drain somebody to 0 willpower,
They're dead
you don't
anyway.
care about
Because they're dead.
Because they're dead. Speaking of things that are dead, we are now going to talk about the Black Spiral Dancers.
This is the one tribe we haven't talked about.
We've never covered them.
Enlighten me. Elucidate me.
Their first...
Arouse me.
I mean, I think I know most about them.
What do you want to know? Let's ask questions and we'll answer them.
Your general BSD is going to be perception focused.
Well, let's go over their stuff and
Oh,
then we talk about their
okay.
builds.
Give me
Okay.
their merits, I guess.
They have no camps.
Good for them.
Their appearance, they look like shit. I mean, that sums up 5 paragraphs really nicely. They also, while other tribes have seen a continuous decline in numbers, Black Spiral Dancers continue to grow.
Just keep winning.
They just keep winning. At least a third of Black Spiral Dancers have defected from the nation for one reason or another, according to this. Weakness. The tribe's initiation ritual expires each werewolf to confront various aspects of the worm and oneself during a vision quest. This process invariably shatters the mind, including madness. All Black Spiral Dancers suffer from a permanent, incurable derangement. They don't get flock speed for it. And when their dreams reset, they reset to 1 rather than 0. So, Melks, basically.
Yeah. And much like with Malkavians and the new derangement system, that could either be a core part of your character, or a core part of the BSD or the NPC, or it could be something that will never matter. and is basically not a flaw.
Alright, the Black Spiral Dancer 1-point merit is Cuckoo's Nest. You understand the necessity of secrets. With this merit, you can spend 1 point of willpower to hide your tainted nature for 24 hours.
No powers can
During that
detect
time, any worm taint you possess cannot be determined. Additionally, you have managed to create an identity that allows you to easily infiltrate the Garo Nation. It grants you an alias equivalent to 4 points of the alternate identity background. A couple clarifications here. We did make a clarification on this one that throwing somebody with Cuckoo's Nest who has the proper thing up into a circle of cleansing will not cause the ritual to fail. So you can't just spam them out that way.
Yeah. It's undetectable. So they
So
would,
That's what the word
they would
undetectable
look
means.
like they went from 0 worm taint to still 0 worm taint. And they'd be like, okay.
So nothing happens when you throw them into a circle of cleansing.
If they have Cuckoo's Nest, yeah, because they're undetectable.
Of course they'll have Cuckoo's Nest if it does that.
Well, some BSDs will have it. Some will not bother.
Yeah, this is for your infiltrators and your former PCs,
Right.
really.
Their 2 is, I think, both.
Their level 2 is
those.
Dance the Spiral. This allows you to enter. You were a guy in Garu who decided to walk the spiral, which means you can purchase gifts from your original tribe affinity as well as Black Spiral Dancer affinity.
Which is required for infiltrators.
Not only required for infiltrators, for story,
They're just good.
for storytellers generating Black Spiral Dancer NPCs. I strongly suggest you take this merit because
so good.
When we get to the BSD gifts, it'll be more clear. Some of them are toolboxy, some of them are terrible. You want real gifts.
Yeah, I can shorten that. 1 through 3 are good. 4 and 5 are unfettered trash.
Well, what the RP behind it's great because when you see, like, I'm in battle, you know, there's a BSD pack and it's like, oh my god, we're outnumbered, we have to withdraw, and then one of them whips out Luna's arm and I'm like, we can't leave till that one.
The question is, can PCs get BSD merits? PCs can't get merits of tribes they're not members of.
You can get a BSD merit. There's a way.
There's a way.
There's a way, but you gotta believe.
If you dance that spiral,
You gotta believe.
You gotta want it.
You gotta, like the
You gotta
Mets,
want it.
You gotta believe.
level 3, Claws of the Worm. Your proximity to the worm is giving you a special gift. Physical mutations that you wear as a badge of honor.
That's shitty.
It's +1 damage on either like a spiky tongue.
Yeah,
or
you
mouth
gain
or
accurate,
tail.
armor-piercing, deadly fast, trip, impaling, or reach. In addition, your natural weapon quality automatically has quick draw.
It's natural weapon, but better, and will almost always be used on claws or mouth.
And for 3 points of merit.
I mean, if you're not spending it anywhere, look, 2 points of merit is natural weapons, and
If
this
we're-
is objectively better than natural weapon.
That's fair. That's fair. I'm just saying if we reviewed it as if this was a PC
So if
trial.
I wanted to make a red talon bite monster who fell to the worm, how much better could you make me?
See,
You'd have
you'd
to
be
admit-
objectively worse because you can't have red and tooth and claw. Because even though you can keep your tribal affinity for gifts,
You cannot keep
cannot
your tribal,
keep your tribal
merits.
merits.
Your tribal merits are gone.
Well, then why even bother?
Might
as well stay
You're a
dying.
glasswalker, and you want better merits.
All right, Black Spiral Dancer gifts. Let's go through them really quick.
Steal fur.
Level 1, Ears of the Bat. Spend a point of Gnosis in a simple action to activate Ears of the Bat. When this is active, your ears become large and bat-like.
What does that
With
do?
the spec, it's always on.
Yep.
I
You can
think.
always hear, even in a natural darkness or supernatural silence. You
You don't pay for blind fighting.
You don't
ever.
play for blind fighting.
Wolf senses then?
Yeah,
You also get the lupus form benefit for tracking.
Yeah.
With hearing.
even not in lupus, which is kind of nice.
Yeah.
Wolf senses?
Yeah, it's
It's hearing based wolf senses basically.
Alright, so wolf senses, got it.
2 was the
1,000 voices. Expend your standard action, exchange your target in mental sub versus mental will. If you succeed, you surround your target with disturbing illusions. -3 wildcard on all attack test pools for the next 3 turns. After 3 turns, your target becomes more capable, and then it becomes a 1 trait for an hour.
Attack pools or attack and defense
It does
pools?
not apply to defensive test pools.
yeah.
Use
it's a
this
debuff.
power, an individual with a derangement gives her a derangement trait. Multiple uses cannot be applied to the same target. Intellect focus. Your target loses access to a mental focus. If they have more than one, target selects.
Yeah, expect to be hit by that by BSD theologists who took int focus instead of perception, which is the default mode for BSDs.
But it doesn't affect your defensive pool.
no, but
But-
it makes people who are good at killing you way less good at killing you, which is kind of important.
3 is, as far as I can tell, the money one.
Amazing.
Wormhide. Spend a point of Gnosis, extend is simple. Your skin gets gross and leathery for an hour. Your
hated
skin now has hardened and ballistic. And it's obviously a veil printing. Mundane attacks that have armor piercing. Do not pierce this. and do not negate the effects of this power.
And-
Supernatural powers that provide armor piercing, such as razor claws, function normally. Perception focus. Your worm hide protects you from armor piercing from everything.
That's right. It does. So your +7/+7 dodge pool armored up BSDs. Yeah, F your armor piercing.
So if
they
I hit-
finally have a decent combat power.
So if I hit him with something that has effects, what happens then?
What do you mean?
Armor piercing and something else.
Your armor piercing just doesn't work.
All right. So I got to get past their armor now.
Yeah. They're good at not getting hit. God, 4.
Crawling poison. Spend a point of gnosis to fill your mouth with a disgusting cocktail of supernatural sickness and toxins. For the next hour, when you successfully bite, your target becomes diseased.
If
The disease infects their blood and immune system, inhibiting their ability to regenerate for the next 5 minutes. So they can't regenerate.
no, that's
If a
breeding.
diseased
It's
target
worse
has the
than that.
regeneration ability, the target's current regeneration level is reduced by 1, starting at the next everyman. Her current amount of rage is unaffected, as her other benefits from current rage level. Only her regeneration benefit functions as if it was 1 level lower. For example, if rage 7, she's the benefits of regen 3, they get regeneration 2 instead. Multiple uses do not stack, and you cannot cause a target's regeneration to fall below 0. Well, he needs 0, you can't fall below 0, because that makes no sense. Crawling poison's disease affects targets without the ability to regenerate as a virility 15 targeting toxin. For such targets, does not fade after the normal duration, just until the target is resisted or treated, or the target runs out of blood, as per the standard rules.
Sounds boring.
Yeah.
It's a hodgepodge of garbage.
Perception focus, it reduces the regen by 2 instead of 1.
Yeah.
You can reduce it to 0. You just can't reduce it past 0.
You know what can also reduce regeneration to 0? Soundstrider 2, which isn't a rank 4 gift.
Damn the Heartslot only reduces it to 1.
No, damn the hard floods, they don't regenerate.
No, it reduces it to... You can reduce it to 1.
I don't think that's true.
Oh, here he goes.
Here we go. Watch this.
I don't know.
What?
Okay, we can...
No, you got your PDF. Look
it is
for it.
sort
you can,
of-
well, actually, me. That's fair.
I want you to know that I have the book and I could look at it, but I won't.
It is actually right. The book's in front of you.
Yeah.
And it's a lot less onerous than,
Yes, it is.
than doing this. You want to just
Nope.
hand me a book, if you would?
Just
You could print out your own.
this is the future. Just pull up the bookmarks, pull up Sound Starter gifts. It's right there.
How do I get to the bookmarks from here?
You're why I drink.
I'm gonna have a drink. A little more booze in here.
Why are you staring longingly at the
Damage
picture?
reduction is not regeneration, so it doesn't affect Aegis of Rage.
Well, Aegis of Rage is going to matter after 1
2?
year. In year 2, 3, and 4, all the adults in the room are doing ag. So suddenly Aegis of Rage has a point. Although Aegis of Rage also has an open rules question of whether you can even do it when you hit Anger Frenzy 3.
Written by him.
I don't think I actually wrote that one, but I can add it to the list. Oh, I can't even open this thing.
Moving
For now,
right along.
if I'm right about Sound Strider, if I'm right about Damn the Heart Flood, then
I'm
I get a
sure
point.
somebody
If
at
not,
the
he
mood
gets
is
it.
looking at the silver record right now.
They have not yet responded. And number 5.
Did we lose him?
No, they're here.
Iggy be nice. No.
Have you met Iggy?
That was a good discussion. That was a really good engagement you used to have with our audience.
Why would I be? They specifically have me here to be mean.
That's
Really?
not
That's
true.
not true.
You have me here for my sparkling personality.
And your insight. You're insightful.
What insight?
You're insightful.
No, I'm not.
In any event.
He's still
Can
trying
we
to pull up
skip
the PDF.
Can we skip to 5, which
Okay,
is worse
'cause
than
this is
Master
for-
of Fire?
He can't not know. It burns.
All right, this is for the benefit of Bucky. BSD level 5, Balefire. Mental sub versus mental will. Spend a gnosis. Expend your standard. If your target's within 20 steps, use your mental, etc. The test is as stated. Your target is struck by a large ball of green-colored fire, which smells of sulfur and rotting meat.
Balls.
Your target takes 2 ag and gains 1 stage of worm taint. This degradation cannot cause the target to go into the 4th or 5th stages of worm taint.
So the thing that matters.
Further, the burns caused by the Balefire mutate into small deformities, giving them a -3 wild card to all their attack pools. These dissolve after 3 turns, but the damage persists as normal. Further uses of Balefire only cause the ag, nothing else. This rule is an exception to the mental power thing. Subsequent uses, increase the target's mutation penalties for another 3 turns, so the penalty remains at 3. It cannot increase beyond 3. Exceptional. It causes the Worm Taint to go up by 2 instead of 1, but it can make them go into 4th or 5th. Focus Intelligence does 3 damage instead of 2. Bucky, you've been waiting for this.
It's Master Fire, except it outs you as a BSD. It hits them with a sub-game that they bend over backwards to make not matter. And that's a level 3 gift that any Hamid and... Who else gets mad? Any Hamid Theurge can get it.
Interjection, as usual, because I didn't look, and Bucky didn't look. In that cases of tiebreakers, Bucky is right. Silent Strider 2 takes away regeneration.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's
Enjoy how right you are.
Their level 4 and 5 powers, the reason you take their level 2 merit is so that, for the love of God, they can take other tribal level 4 and 5 powers, which are definitionally better than theirs.
Level 4 and 5 powers.
Oh, God.
The reason
There you go. But yeah, BSD 5, there's no advantage of this over Master of Fire, except they want to spend XP for no reason, and they get off on their.
It's a subterfuge shop instead of a cult, so Ragabash are better at it.
Yeah.
I got nothing.
Oh no! Wait, there's something. There is something. Rachel points out something. Master of Fire is mental versus physical, whereas this is mental versus mental. So it fills a mental slot if somebody's already used 2 Master of Fires. So, in the situation where they have been hit already twice by Master of Fire, and you want to get that mental slot filled...
I mean, it's technically... It could be a better chop. It absolutely could be a better chop. But it's a better chop than a rank 3 power, which, if you have the spec, gives you an entire another gift that lets you convert fire damage from ag to non-ag. Like, Master of Fire isn't just good because it's Lure Flames. It's also good because you can just turn fire into not ag if you're, I think, Wit spec, which is a pretty common spec. So, their 5 is garbage.
Okay, additional bonuses and drawbacks.
It's not beyond a 4 garbage.
When they strike a Geru or Farah within melee range, the target's Worm Taint increases by 1.
Yeah.
The first time a corrupted werewolf is struck by a Gaian werewolf or Farah, the Black Spiral Dancer gains an additional point of rage. That's a nice one.
Yeah.
Black Spiral Dancer gains the number in a corrupted area, sure. And they can't make bitten.
Yep.
So there you go. Black Spiral Dancers. Now, with those rules aside, you might look at that and say, Black Spiral Dancers, I'm not particularly impressed. And yet, I think they're really, really boss.
Oh, well, here's another thing. Don't forget that all your Black Spiral Dancers are corrupted. So you're also going to be giving them 2 Fomori powers.
Right.
So just like full stop, they're going to get 2 extra powers. And they're a bunch that they can take. Obviously, they're not going to take Wormhide because their Wormhide is even better because it stops supernatural armor piercing. But your Fomori power is Mind Blast. It's great. Does 2 ag in a mental slot that doesn't cost 20 XP.
Wait, are you saying they can take a taint power for free instead of their level 5?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
That would
That's
be
cool.
a good option
That's-
for
that's
them
cool.
when
That's cool.
creating them. Don't ever give them their level. Just do the 2 ag, do it with a mental challenge. I think it's mental. And it also costs them a simple action. Instead of the nonsense corruption game where they're never going to become corrupted.
Okay, so they get taints. That's awesome.
You know, honestly,
Do you know what I think their best power is?
What?
Their ability to step sideways in a worm area.
Oh yeah, that's huge.
Because that's where the PCs are going to go.
It's
and
where the
that's how PCs are gonna
it's what the
be.
PCs can't do. So they have a good get out of jail free card. They're worse at assaulting now.
you know,
But
honestly, I think that bad gifts are actually a blessing in disguise.
How so?
Oh, I have a rank 4 of this tree that I shouldn't take. What do you do?
Take Hobbling Strike. Oh, I'm sorry, or Awakened Major Spirit, or any of the other better ones.
Where are their weaknesses?
I mean, they do have them. I mean, they're self-outing.
No, where are their weak gifts?
4 and 5. There are better 4 and 5. Oh yeah, it's not like they're gonna lose a lot of sleep when they take
not
Hobbling
losing-
Strike
they're
and
not-
Apotheosis of Rage or
They're not.
whatever.
They're
Like-
not. That's my point. They're not losing tempo. It's like, oh,
And 1 through 3 are very good.
the 1,
very,
2,
very
3,
good.
and then I have that tree, and then I get a couple 1s and 2s from other tribal affinity gifts.
Well, it's got to be a specific affinity.
Yeah, the other, like my Silver Fang one, my Shadow Lord one, whatever it is.
It's
This
not
lets,
just 1s and 2s; it's all of them.
yeah, I know, but like
Yeah.
you can splash in the 5s and 4s from your tribal affinity gifts. When you see the guy who you can't tell he's tainted, he has all those the 2 and 3, and
Yeah.
then all of a sudden he rips out your tribal 5. You're like, I'm in for a shit day, and I can't let this guy live.
Right, or he paused you.
Yeah.
Do you know why I think it's an even bigger deal that BSD...
Where's the downside?
Do you know why I think it's an even bigger deal in the current story we have based on the book? Is that BSDs don't have to go assault your cairn to win. They have no necessity. You have nothing they
They're
need.
already winning.
My point is,
They are.
you have nothing they need. There is no objective that you hold that the BSDs need to hold.
Quite the opposite.
Exactly so.
That's the thing. They're already winning. You're on the defensive.
Mm-hmm.
The only way you could win is by taking the fight to them. And the place where you take the fight to them,
You
they
can't.
can step sideways.
And you can't.
And you
Which is-
can't. So they're
Except for
already
New Week.
they're winning. So you have to be clever, and it takes away the whole they're attacking the cairn again. Why would they? They don't give a fuck. I mean,
that's a story. There's nothing wrong with that story.
no, there is, and I like how there is something wrong with that storyline. One, it's derivative of the old game. It's annoying. It's boring.
Yeah.
And two, go ahead, stay in the cairn, isolate yourself.
Oh yes.
Separate yourself
Right,
more.
right.
You're safe there.
You're safe there. I promise. I swear on my honor as a monster.
Right.
If you stay in the cairn and don't come out, I will never attack you. You and your kin and all of your kind will be perfectly safe. If you stay on your little.
I'll never leave the cairn
If
again,
you
buddy.
stay there and just leave the rest of the world to me.
Well, there was a large argument. There was a lot of discussion during Dev that the BSDs should just use coin techniques to just get the Gaians dealt with. Just use counterinsurgency techniques against the Gaians. Because there's not
so many ways to play the bad guys in this system,
Yeah,
which I
but
love.
if you just
dumb.
look up U.S. Army counterinsurgency techniques. And just
I put a
do
reading
those
list
as
on the
BSDs.
silver. I put a reading list on the Silver Fang Facebook group, and I wonder how many of you guys actually read some of the stuff.
I'm not on
I'm
that
not Silver
group,
Fang.
but I am aware
Well, I
of
mean,
this.
So
Those
up your games.
Whatchamacallit? I will say the counter to your argument of what did
Can
they
an
lose?
a BSD rank match to Gary rank? Can an Elder BSD look like a Cleath or Foster? With alt ID, they can.
Yeah. When you use leadership to be like, who's
Are there
that
natural
guy?
born BSDs? Are they then weaker than the convicts?
Yes, apparently they are.
Yes.
This is the most major nerf on the BSDs from Revised.
I like it.
I'm just saying, but
Old BSDs used to be able to get any gift.
No, I like it. It's like, hey, you want to join the winning team? Not only that, you'll lead it.
It's no. I
They-
don't
they're-
think
they're-
that's the issue.
That is the issue. It's like there are Shadow Lords and Silverfangs and a bunch of other tribes that would rather rule in hell.
This is the most major nerf on the BSDs. From
It's
Right.
not a nerf. It's great. It
No.
incentivizes you to draw players in.
It does, but you can't just take gifts from 5 different tribes anymore. That's
Yeah.
the thing.
Yeah, they're pureborn BSDs are now objectively the worst tribe because they're 4 and 5. That's one of the two things. One, they're 4 and 5 are garbage.
Probably
and they
Strike,
don't-
Abiothus, or Rage, it doesn't matter.
But unlike other tribes that have good level 4 and 5s, they don't even have the paradox of choice because Wendigo's rank 5 is awesome.
I don't think choices are a paradox. I think it's a paralysis. People are paralyzed by their choices.
I will not say more options of other awesome gifts is not a downside. I would rather be torn between 2 awesome gifts than be like, well, that's garbage, so I don't really have a choice.
I mean, theoretically, we could write 2 other tribal trees for the BSDs, but I mean, we're not going to. There's no reason to do that.
No, they're just look. They had a bunch of really, really garbage powers
Hang on,
in Revised.
Stop. Fianna gifts are amazing. It's only the one level that's
Only
garbage.
4. Fianna 4 is
Get
terrible.
Hobbling Strike and move on with your
Fianna
day.
are great. Every time I see this, I gotta correct it. Fianna are amaze balls. Their
Yeah.
gifts are amazing.
1 is amazing. 2 is super amazing. 3 is good. 4,
Get
the
Hobbling
worst
Strike.
gift in any game ever.
It just mean-
5, great.
Wait,
5
Like,
is
this
great
didn't
again.
stop anybody from playing a Slubri tribe.
Listen,
Right.
listen,
Just because you have ending the watch doesn't mean you're like, I'd rather not be a salute.
Here's what you do. You get a little sticky pad and you write whatever the page number Hobbling Strike is on, and you just put it
Well,
right there
or
and say
any of the-
Hobbling Strike.
The general rank 4 gifts are not only are they
Invoke
like
Earth's contract.
not only are they universally good, but they're generally better than the tribal ones, and that's just true. And there's a bunch of them. So Awaken Major Spirit, great gift, absolutely fantastic.
Well, especially
gift.
now-
There's so much stuff.
Now that we're so early on that everyone probably only has 1 4 and 1 5, it's not a problem yet.
No.
Because you just buy your Hobbling Strikes, your Awakened Major Spirits, and you move on with your day. It's
Yeah.
not an issue. Play a fucking
there
Fianna.
are other. Yeah, Fianna are great. They're very good at what they do, and they have a lot of really great powers. The only reason I rag on Fianna 4 is it's objectively the worst power ever. It's what happens when
Fianna 4,
you take
PSD
a power.
4. Pick. You have to have one.
Oh,
gun to your head.
It's Fianna 4 is worse, absolutely, because
And that's why the
BSD4
Fianna walk the spiral. Problem solved.
BSD4 you activate, and then it's just a carrier attack on your bite attacks. There's not actually a downside.
Why is everybody talking about force transformation?
Because they're just naming rank 4 gifts that are amazing. Force transformation is either amazing or useless.
I thought that was a flaw. Force transformation.
No, it's a gift. Go to your breed form.
Oh, which one's the?
Which is great if you're like,
then rage transformation.
So if you're fighting a lupus,
Or band transformation.
and they're all bite monster on you, and you're like, go to lupus. You don't even do ag with your mouth anymore, or whatever. Or you're just worse at combat because you don't get a brawl bonus.
You don't get thumbs.
Then you don't have thumbs. Like, it's pretty good. If you force transformation any gun bunny, it means nothing. I had to go from Hamid to still Hamid, and I still have enhanced Hamid. Thank you for wasting a Gnosis in your turn and locking up that whole slot of attack. I really appreciate that, bro. I relent.
All right, moving
That's
on.
actually something that we talked about. Is relenting to the attacks you don't mind to let them take up the slots.
Well, even if you can test it, it still takes up
Yeah,
a slot.
but
though.
like you're like, all right, go ahead.
Oh, it's
that
still
ain't
worth
working.
contesting because if you win the chop, they might spend a willpower.
You're such an asshole.
Like, definitely play chicken with them.
All right.
We do have to get to the end of our show. 'cause
Well,
I
no, we're
think-
moving along.
Okay.
Now we're moving on to our. We have no idea what the hell we're talking about. Talking about Vampires Minute.
Oh God.
So the new docs.
Can I exempt myself from this?
Get hype.
No.
The new docs for the new Chronicle came out. Shared continuity in Mind's Eye Society between Sabat, Independent Alliance, and Camarilla. Bucky, thoughts?
It's great. I wish that the wall could theoretically go down in 2018 instead of 2019,
Tear it down.
because you're going to have characters built around the wall falling. Characters are going to want the wall to fall. I think the only people who might not want the wall to fall are going to be staff and a gross minority of players. That said, if you wait 2 years by the time the wall falls,
Thank you. Alexia says I'm here for Werewolf.
people are going to be...
We're just spending a minute on it, guys. We're just covering it quick.
People are going to be so optimized 2 years in that it's either going to be like a groan-inducing bloodbath. It's going to get weird. I would rather it go down earlier so the sheets are just not as good.
Actually, my question about the Shared Chronicle, and the answer I haven't seen yet. Day to day, you're in a Camarilla or a Sabat local game. What's the value add of having a Shared Chronicle right now for the first couple years? Is there any value add to it?
I can
I
see
actually
one.
don't know the answer to the question.
I can see
don't know
one.
the answer.
It stops. It doesn't stop. It discourages bad STs.
Because it makes it more difficult to use Vampiric Antagonist.
Right, so you don't have Cammies stacking Sabat like Cordwood or Sabat stacking Camarilla like Cordwood because you have a wall there. So you can actually have your political subgame in Cam and Anarch and Sabat, and maybe they'll tear themselves apart without an enemy to fight. Maybe they're not viable.
Or like, how is Influence going to work in split domains?
Well, they were pretty clear that 10 is the issue. 9s are fine. 10 is
No.
the issue.
The issue, like, you have a domain that's both, which is something they allow,
Well-
but top approval. I mean, I don't know the answer.
I don't know who's top, and I don't know what their logos is, so I can't speak for them. I think that you shouldn't allow it. If there's a wall up, then the moment that wall falls, you should have Praxis Seizures and Crusades 4, to use the VTES terminology, and that you shouldn't already have a contested city in the first 2 years.
And that concludes our talking about vampires.
Right,
minute.
yeah.
Just for that sentence that you just said. I'm rolling a Sabat, and I'm going to crusade the nearest city as soon as humanly possible.
Because why not? It's finally a
We've
chance to
concluded.
do it.
We may have a special episode talking just about vampires, but that is
with
not
like-
this one.
With a different
cast.
with different cast and different hosts.
Iggy is not as excited I am.
Do you remember last time I played Vampire? I had less friends.
Well, and I think it might be me, you, and Gerard.
Yeah, I had less friends, but I had more victory. No one wants the bad old days again.
I'd be for it.
So let's
All
talk
right.
about sheets.
Fucking asked
All right.
for
On
it.
our last episode, we said we'd make sheets for 3 different people, and so each of us has made a sheet for one person.
Well, of us has made a sheets is strong for it.
2 of the 3 of us have made sheets. The other will make a sheet live on screen for your edification and amusement.
Because
The
arguing is
reveals
what
are
we're
coming now. First, we're going to do Lee's sheet. Let's talk about Lee's sheet. So what Lee asked for was he wanted a lupus Geru who grew up around Chernobyl and was corrupted by that, but grew to understand that the Weaver could be used to destroy the humans just as well as the Wild can. This is an interesting concept, and one I really had to think about. I made this sheet. My thinking in making this sheet was I didn't want to make the character an influence monster.
You made a fun build.
Yeah, and I also...
Did you help?
No, I made this by myself.
I didn't help either of you.
Now, I started to make a fetish monster, just gun bunny teched out, and I was like, then we're just making a glass walker. So I thought about it some more, and I came up with what I think is an interesting concept.
You're wrong.
Maybe not.
I think it's fun.
Welcome to Chemical Burn. Chemical Burn is, as you can see, he has 11 mentals, and he's doing okay in his other attributes. They're not perfect. He didn't have the most MC in the world, but we gave him a good start. You'll notice that his skills are pretty well rounded, and his security rating is 7.
Pretty well rounded.
Yeah, a little bit here and there, but
The roundness are empty zeros.
welcome to new character generation. That being said, his security rating is 7, and the reason I went with 7 for security is I see this character as an infiltrator, someone who gets into Weaver corrupted areas, finds out information, or makes quick hits and gets the hell out. Over time with more XP, I might turn him into a gun bunny, and we kind of left room for that, but he's not really there yet. He's got some firearms, but he definitely needs a lot of points to spend. But for now, he is a security monster. He gets in. He's got some contacts.
Delightful for something like a Haven raid.
Oh my, yes.
Oh, you're secure Haven?
Yeah.
I cut through that like a hot knife through butter.
Yes. Exactly. He's got contacts and influences to get him information, to get him what he needs to know. He's got an ally who backs him up when he needs it. Flaws, he's rocking Taint of Corruption, Difficult Transformation, and Bitten. I thought Bitten was good for the character. It makes sense with his sort of unfortunate upbringing. I like to imagine that a Red Talon was wandering through the woods around Chernobyl and saw this poor, slightly corrupted kinfolk and was like, he deserves a little bit better than this. Merits, I went with Camp Defector to the Concordiate of Stars, along with Weaver Affinity. Weaver Affinity, which is money in the bank, once again, for infiltration.
And the bitten thing can also play into the background in that Lupus Kinfolk was dying of everything. But definitely had a 1-month window to turn into a Geru.
Exactly so.
Like you have been way too close to a nuclear pile to the graphite decaying nuclear pile of Chernobyl for way too long. You had 6 months to live.
You don't quite glow green in the dark, but
Right.
you damn near almost do.
That would have been different flaws, but yes.
So he's got Weaver Affinity, which again allows him to do all sorts of stuff. Run tools without ammo, powers, cars. But more importantly, allows him to step sideways in Weaver Affinity areas, which is money in the bank. Arcane and Wormspeak. Again, Arcane is just backing up his ability to get in and get the hell out. Wormspeak. That was more of a fluff thing, but I took it because it kind of plays into his background of being nearly corrupted by the
What we
worm.
wanted for the Kinfolk.
And infiltrating.
Yeah. And then Wolf in Sheep's Clothing gives him background for later to grow his sheep more.
I think Wormspeak is an underappreciated 1-point filler merit.
I literally was going to give it to the Kinfolk. There we go.
It's a good merit.
amazing.
It's a great merit.
No, well, Wormspeak is really good. I'm a big fan of Wormspeak. Now, having Wormspeak plus Taint of Corruption puts you in for an interesting role-playing experience.
I'll kill you.
But given what Lee was looking for, I think this interesting role-playing experience is one that he should explore.
Wormspeak isn't a language that he learned. It's the one that whispers in his ears.
Yeah. Now, as for gifts, because we didn't have the most to work with for points, I went mostly with stuff that doesn't have chops. For instance, Jam Tech.
Literally.
Jam Tech, 1,000 Forms. I think 1,000 Forms is an underappreciated gift.
Oh,
1,000 Forms is
great for adventuring.
So good. I can't even talk about how good 1,000 Forms is. For Umbral adventures, for getting into somebody. Sometimes
Regular adventures.
Yes.
You're in a hole.
Yeah. Sometimes you just want
How
to
do I
be a
get
mouse.
out of the hole? I turn into a monkey. Like,
Or
it's just
you
good
turn into a mole.
or a mole, or
yeah,
bird,
yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Wolf Senses is, I mean, that's one of those gifts I get for everybody. It's just so good.
Well, yeah, Wolf Senses and Blur are two things you have to have on every cheat. I don't care if it costs you 6 XP instead of 4.
Yeah.
I don't have either of those.
So,
Should.
this character
I'll
is...
stand by my statement.
This character, given the point restrictions I was working with, gives you a nice background, a buttress to build up your character's story, and at the same time gives you something you can do that nobody else can do. I'm going to pretty much guarantee that there's probably nobody walking around with Security 7 in your game. I'm going to go on a limb. So that gives you something, and you always need to get in somewhere. So, this is Chemical Burn. He's my friend, and I hope that Lee plays him, because I think he'll have a good life.
We'll be dead in a week.
I mean, it is definitely a character that could die in
Ragabash.
contact.
He is a Ragabash.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the chat.
I actually find
what's the chat box?
I find Arcane to be strong. Actually,
It is strong.
Arcane is strong.
Because it's undefined.
Well, what it does is it saves your ass from stories from your ST boning you and stuff.
I
Like, there was a
remember
video
you from that. No, you don't.
or there was a video camera you missed. Or
No,
something
there
like
isn't.
That. Yep. Arcane
Yeah.
covers your ass. It might look weak mechanically. I think it's actually very strong.
See, if you're a good player, you can cover the big things like people actually knowing you. You know who knows you. But what gets people effed up is the super, like, Captain America Civil War? They didn't even see Strucker coming. He was a nobody.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he didn't ping on their radar till he was already killing them.
That's
and
fair, yeah.
And that's what will happen to a good character that knows all. Zemo.
Strucker did survive the first 5 minutes.
So who knows
Sorry.
all? Yeah. So I'm tired. So you know the players in your game. You know the major NPCs in your game. But what you don't notice is the guy who your fight made late to the hospital and he had to watch his wife die. But he remembers you.
Right.
He remembers you really
The
well.
Clock King.
And
Yeah.
he will never ever stop looking for you.
Yeah.
But if you have Arcane, that guy doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It takes away creative ST ability to ruin your day.
Yeah.
So
which is good.
whereas I went for sort of an interesting role playing character who does one thing well, Bucky made a different kind of character.
You're such a bastard.
Bucky, talk about the restrictions you were under for this character. Just talk about generally what the idea was.
I have a much more, despite me being this, like, combat monkey guy, I like to build a character organically. So the first thing I did was, and this is, or kombucha. It doesn't always have to be dark. I know you've had a bad week.
Let me tell you about some cancer.
So, I worked with Alexia to make a tune. So first we started with.
We're gonna go right to the sheet. All right, let me pull it up.
Well, we can. I mean, I could talk about my process as well.
Well, talk about it as you go. I have the sheet up now.
Did you just use the phrase
Process.
the process?
I did.
Don't question his process.
I'm married to an artist, so I speak fluent artist.
I want to make an artist joke, but I'm actually terrified about your wife.
Yeah, don't.
Don't do it. Don't
I'm
do
not
it.
allowed
Don't
to.
do it.
You're not
Super
allowed to either.
scared.
All right, so we have the top half of the sheet available here, so let's talk about it.
Okay.
God, I hate the term tune.
Just sorry. It's something I picked up that was more closer to cancer.
I picked up tune from MES, so you have no one to blame but yourselves, people.
I got it from actually, the game tune is one of the reasons I picked it up.
God. You know what? We're
It's a
playing
great game.
MES, and we're going to go play tune now.
We're having a tune LARP. All right.
All right, talk to me about it.
So I spoke to Alexia and I did the questions I normally do. What do you want to do? What do you want to do in combat? What do you want to do in the downtime? What's your favorite motif? Like, do you like Victorian? Do you like punk rock? Do you like goth? Do you like Western? Do you want to... all that stuff. And we talked, and we went back and forth for a while, and purely by chance, it ended up being a similar idea to what was in the combat primer, which is why I vague booked on Facebook. Gilbert de Molyneux can eat her heart out.
That's an inside call that a lot of Oh
Yeah.
my God, look at all those
Wait,
gifts.
so
Look at all those fucking gifts.
so what you're telling me is you made something that looked like it came out of a combat primer.
Yes and no.
Oh my God, look at your equipment.
Yes. So
How do you want to walk us through this? Where do you want to start?
look
Look at the equipment.
Do you like sleep?
no. No.
I'm
I
literally
do
worried
plenty.
about you right now.
I'm just able to crank these characters out pretty quickly. I said I would have it done before the podcast. I think I had it done 2 hours after talking with Alexia. Here's the thing. I wanted to explore different things. One, be a Black Fury. Great at range combat. But range combat in most LARPs is just the people behind the melee fighters. Nay. I want to explore actual range combat from 800 to 1,000 steps away.
Long range.
So I combined long range and supportive fetishes to make sniping rifles with long range, silver ammunition, armor piercing, accurate.
This is literally...
And, well, you didn't write yours first, so you get to lose out. And the benefit of the character is the ability to hit, and it still needs some work. It needs some.
No, I can't because I need to have this.
Yeah, it does need some gifts like stoking Fury's furnace and things like that to get more rage, because rage is going to benefit combat. So at about the 6th rage level, our Balkan Goth Gun Bunny Sniper is going to be engaging probably at about 500 steps, doing 4 ag without a chop, and then throwing pretty beefy 23 trait pulls, give or take, mostly give.
Can you go back to the gifts, please?
To hit people, and that's pretty impressive. I mean, you're absolutely devoted dodge bunnies you won't be able to hit. Maybe. I mean, you'll lose ties. You still win when you win, but that's a lot of exceptional successes. I gave her 8 flavors of guns for every conceivable situation. I bootstrapped wits, which is a way to start a character with an int focus, so you're going to get more later when you get Awakened Minor Spirit and things like that. And then get wits on the back end through the extra focus, and a +1 to the mental chops, and because you get wits, that's also good for shooting people in the face. So that's basically how it works. Plus the silver sub-game is in full effect, and they have band transformation and monstrous, which I think is fun for role-playing opportunities, and is also 7 points in flaws. The 7 points in merits, I think sort of speak for themselves. I forgot exactly what I got.
Enhanced Hamid, Arrows of Artemis, Silver Tolerance, Acute Sense.
Oh yeah, once this guy, I don't think I started her with Wolf Senses, but once she drops the 4 or 6 XP required and buys up the rest of her stat line, will, without spending Gnosis or without a chop, be able to see every non-supernaturally hidden thing. So the goal is basically climb up on a roof, pop Curse of Aeolus, be within 3 steps of the edge of that so you can see everybody and nobody can see you. Use silence guns that they can't even hear. Do massive amounts of aggravated damage from incredible range, and be actual ranged combat. And Overwatch, which is something that I think hasn't really been thoroughly explored in the game. And I feel like it has a ton of utility. What did we name the character? Jakarta Nikic, of Croatian descent from Bosnia-Herzegovina, first generation.
Do you know what their MC is?
American. There's a lot of role-playing stuff there.
I really wish you could see this.
It's a fun tune.
No, I wanna put this up.
I still dipped into all sorts of different skills, which I don't think we really went over. But, I mean, firearms is the big one. But I also made sure to splash all the minor skills that you sort of need at 1, and I did that, as I said, through the agent creation.
People are really pushing back against being able to do more than 2 damage without a chop. Can you walk them through that? They say trick shot does 2, period.
Trick shot does base and not exceptional. If your damage is increased, or the weapon you're swinging does more than... Okay, for example, if you trick shot somebody with a weapon that does 2 ag, right, and is avenging, you're going to do 3 ag. If the person you hit had honored sanction, you're effectively going to do 5. But the avenging doesn't turn off because you trick shotted. It's not another power with another chop. It's just like, if you have avenging worm and you hit a Fomori or a BSD...
Wait, you have avenging Gaian or avenging worm?
Oh, I don't. I just have... because of Arrows of Artemis, the range damage multiplier... The range... The increased damage you get from range just counts on their base attack. So once she's at range 6, she's doing 4. Right?
What's that Fury thing that your rage increases?
That's 1. That's the one I didn't give her the 1 or the 3.
You should give her the one that, as your rage goes up, so does the damage with any range object.
No, that's what I did. That's 2. That's Arrows of Artemis. I think, or arrows or something.
Trick shot's a level 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, trick shots, Hamid, level 3. I don't know why it wouldn't carry avenging extra damage from the 2-point merit or anything else that gives it bonus damage.
Yep, you gain a normal success.
That's what a normal success is.
Once per turn, you spend 1 gnosis to get a normal success.
So at about 6 rage, she'll do 4. She'll never do 4/5.
Mm-hmm.
But if she hits on her... Well, she can't spend, gnosis in combat rounds yet. No, I'm just kidding. Falls to the worm, gets chaos mechanics. But on those regular hits, if for some reason she wanted to do regular hits just because she's mopping up...
That's an Arrows of Artemis thing, by the way. The extra rage damage on your ranged weapon is only with Arrows of Artemis.
Or if your ranged weapon has something like Avenging.
It's only for Furies.
Yeah.
That's why they're
Or
amazing.
anyone with fetishes.
That's why Furies are the best range fighters in the game. Suck it.
They are.
Stalkers.
Bar none. But not just ranged in, I have a bow and I'm only 3 steps behind the person who's a melee character.
But I have long range, and that's roughly 880 steps.
Yeah. Most sources say 1,000 steps, because it's a 2,000 step mile. Civilian steps are short. They're not marching. But yeah, that's a huge engagement zone. Also, automatically
Yes, it
revealing
is. It
all
is-
hidden people
it
and
is Fury,
things without gnosis.
Okay.
They just see everything. It's amazing.
All right.
So what else? So what else does she do besides shoot people in the fucking face?
It's mostly what she does.
Okay, so you started off with, and then you ended up with the combat too.
Yeah, I asked what they wanted to play. They said ranged combat. That was the first thing we talked about.
Good, good.
All right.
That is what I was asked.
We're
to
now
make.
going to show you how quick and easy it is to make a character sheet by doing one live on stream.
You can put long range on a bow, I guess. That's a weapon quality. I don't know. I mean, if it's a long bow, I don't know how you're going to convince your ST that you can shoot half a mile with a bow.
All right, now a few things about
Half a
this
mile
character.
is-
We are making a Kinfolk character.
Yeah, this is for, how do you say Chloe in Pig Latin? Say it in Spanish. Chloe.
I can't tell if it's funnier or less funnier the second time.
It's
less.
It's as funny.
It wasn't quite as good as the first
Alright.
one.
No.
How do you set somebody as Kinfolk in this?
I think you did. Current rank.
they're
Kinfolk,
as
starting with
Kinfolk.
Oh, yeah, because you haven't body rank dots.
So,
All right, here we go. Tribe.
Chloe gave me the overall guidance of the most useful kinfolk ever. And while I had some vague ideas and I worked a lot of it out with my sexy intern, Austin, I had kind of a busy week. So, about yesterday, day before, I realized I could just argue with Bucky, and that actually makes better television.
We have been arguing a lot before we were streaming.
Oh my god! Like
about what qualifies a good kinfolk.
A solid 35 minutes of arguing,
Yeah.
and then I looked over at him and I said, "This is why I don't make good TV." And he said, "That's fair," which means I'm right, and he can't admit it. That's what that means.
What tribe?
Silverfang. We want to make her good.
What does Silverfang really get?
No, you get nothing as kinfolk.
Yeah.
I just want her to be Silverfang.
We don't.
Oh, it's-
Yeah, we don't pick
because
off
I like
or
her
special
and I
skills.
want her
There's a
near
lot.
my tribe.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We're now making the character attributes.
Social. Was it? I wanted originally to go mental, social, phys. Phys is last because if you're in that situation, you're kind of fucked anyway already. But Bucky's saying that we should go social first because most of the gifts are social. To which I replied, the only gifts she'll be getting, because you get 5 gifts as a kinfolk, the only gifts she'll be getting are gifts that are with sans chop, without chop. And most of the stuff that you're doing to other Garu with your skills, and we'll get into what she's doing exactly, are things they're going to want to frag and relent to. So you're not going to need to win the chop. You're not chopping with them. You're just doing these things.
I'm talking worst case scenario. It's generally better to have powers and not need them than need powers and not have them.
I kind of wanted to make a character that was a thinker instead of a feeler. Like, we have a lot of people who are social primary.
Well,
we have a lot of people that are physical
The
primary.
character we were just talking about, where you're like, where's the role playing? They are an absolutely unabashed genius. They have more mental traits than anyone in the room, barring if there's a mental spect elder.
That's one way of looking at it. I see that person more as an archer from the show Archer, where they're really good at shooting and putting rocks in descending order of size, but not much else. They can't talk to anybody. They can't.
But Archer
effectively
is a
plan
great
thing.
character.
Yeah, but Archer's not fun to be around.
No, that's accurate. That's accurate.
And kinfolk have to be fun to be around, or they go away.
So social primary?
I mean, it's up to you. I just think that You know what?
Yeah, let's go social
it's
primer
your
and see.
build.
Let's go social primer and see what happens.
All right,
Because we're literally building this live. We're doing it live, and I want people in the audience to chime in with their opinions. Granted, I'm gonna ignore most of you.
All right, skills. Which one do you want it for?
I was thinking either Animal Ken or Empathy. Empathy lets you use and abuse derangements, and if you're a Silverfang Kin, that's gonna come up pretty often.
You might.
Yeah. Or Empathy, because getting rid of seethe traits is something that needs doing.
But these are things you only need at 1.
Yeah. But you can be good at them. So what would you conversely say, Buck?
There's just skills that you get a lot more out of at 4 that are just interesting. Like academics will give you 4 fields of study, or linguistics will give you 4 language.
See, that's
Animal
actually,
Ken
that's
1 will let you reduce seethe traits, and Animal Ken 5 will also let you reduce seethe traits, as long as you don't have a gift or a power that actually requires Animal Ken.
The gifts of
unless
powers
you,
the gifts of powers don't react.
that's what I'm saying. Unless you're a veterinarian.
I actually had this conversation with Austin specifically about.
So I'm putting Animal Ken for now.
Let's go academics.
Okay.
But I had a conversation with Austin about linguistics and how, like, in the last iteration of the game, everybody spoke at least 2 languages, and now I don't think anybody's going to be getting linguistics.
I think the best linguistics you can have right now is the 1-point merit worm speak, where only people with the merit can ever understand you.
All right, 2 and
3.
three.
You have thieves can't.
2 and 3.
It's one of the hidden powers of worm speak.
That's true. Yeah.
It's
That is.
It's
actually-
physically impossible.
It's like, oh, you have other powers? Cool. I don't care. You don't understand what we're talking. We're speaking worm, and they're like, oh, I need a merit for that. Well, F that.
I was gonna go security stealth or drive stealth,
Drive is one of those skills you always want to have pretty high.
and nobody has it, and she wants to be useful. And as we saw, people hop into cars and don't have drive.
Drive is great. Also hilarious if you give it streamlined. I can get you there in half the time.
All right, drive.
Take that physics.
And what's the other 3?
And
Either
customized.
that's the item, but stealth is where I was gonna go with that.
Really? Okay.
It's either stealth or Animal Ken.
All right, 3 and 2.
3 or 2. What do you think? We already had academics, so how about science, computer?
Dodge, please.
I was gonna have dodge, brawl, melee all at 1 because she's not a fighter. She's literally not a fighter.
All right, so
She's not
science
there
at
to fight.
2.
Dodge isn't
Computers
about
at
fighting.
2.
Dodge is about not getting your character killed.
What's your 32?
What did I say for the first 2?
Science and drive.
Science, drive, security.
Well, crafts is great to have it too, also.
Why?
I just, as a habit, having crafts 2 sketches of people could come in handy.
No, if she gets it embraced.
No, but if you're using influences and can get a cult to do some magic to track somebody down, you want to craft 2 sketch of
Oh
them.
my god.
Plus, it's just handy to be like, that's the guy.
For- one.
This is literally why we're ignoring him.
4 at 1. Animal Ken.
Animal Ken, empathy, investigation. Oh, I'm sorry. 4 at 1. It has to be Animal Ken, empathy, dodge, and firearms.
You get a lot from having Streetwise at 1. That's huge, especially if you want stealth.
This
you
is
can
where
get lost in crowds.
this is where I tell Bucky to pump the brakes. This is a Kinfolk, and we're coming back with a shitload of XP to do nothing. But
Oh
get
no,
lines.
that's true because they can really only buy skills. After
Attributes
creation.
done. Okay, backgrounds 1 at 3.
1 at 3. Okay, so here's my issue. Here's my issue.
Okay.
I like fetishes a lot.
If this is okay, so previously, if we
the
had a
previ-
whirling back symbol, we would cut to the argument where we were arguing over fetishes on a kinfolk, and the solution to fetishes on a kinfolk are,
Well, what's the problem with fetishes on a Kinfolk?
oh, you're a kinfolk. Why do you have that fetish? Give me that fetish.
Well, these fetishes are loaned to me by my Adrian cousin, the Silverfang Truthcatcher of this sept. Yeah, that's what I thought. You have a nice day.
And there we have the.
That's the whole bit.
That's how the conversation went.
Because that's actually
We
an
saved
issue
you 20 minutes of yelling.
I don't know if we saved them.
I don't know. Where's fetish on here? I don't see it under background.
It
It's
should
pull
be.
down.
Where?
Go to the bottom. Go to the one of the green ones.
Oh, I see.
Pull it down, and you'll get pull down options.
Alter identity, haven, retainer. Doesn't let me buy it as a kinfolk.
That's because you haven't put venue apocalypse yet.
No, I did.
It should, because they can. They can.
Well, they
attune-
can't buy Haven. It's called territory in Werewolf. What is going on?
I don't know. Let's come back to that. What so you want to buy fetish at 3?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Or
And
you
then
can just write it in.
there it is.
Oh,
Fetish.
okay. I'm like, wait, what?
All right, now 1 at 2.
resources, because you actually can't be a starving pauper, unlike some people.
And 1 at 1.
What are some good options at 1?
Allies, alt identity, contacts, fame, rank, obviously not.
Obviously never fame.
Or spirit pact.
No.
Influence, high or low, and kinfolk.
Can they get kinfolk? My kinfolk has kinfolk. I know a guy.
No, you can do that, yeah.
They can get retainers, but there's no way to do it on this.
Yeah.
You would just take kinfolk, and then you would know in your head
Scroll
that it's
up.
just the retainer's background. Because it's described.
I'm going to say contacts, because that's super useful.
It's good to know a guy.
Contacts is good for
Alright, we're
combat.
not done with that. Alright, next up, flaws.
That's actually something I was going to leave up to Chloe. But I had some suggestions that I wrote down, just because I'm that guy who writes down irritating things. So, fragile bones, because why not?
Well, that's 4 points.
That's pretty big. It's huge.
Low pain threshold.
Oh my god.
You're not a fighter. You're useful. You're
Well,
not a brawler.
Okay, we're done with flaws then.
Yes.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you can't take a punch. But mind you, 99% of the time, you're not in combat, you're nowhere near the enemy. Everybody around you is incentivized by the litany to make sure nothing bad ever happens to you.
That's all. That's true.
And if anybody does hit you in the middle of what's supposed to be your safe area, you don't have to fight them. Everybody else around you is going to murder them.
Alright, merits.
Okay. I have a different design philosophy, but that's fine.
Of course you do, because you make what you make.
You don't know what the character's other 3 backgrounds are. You're just assuming what they are. We didn't actually go over my backgrounds because I had to buy rank with XP. I had 1 at 3, 1 at 2, 1 at 1.
Merits.
Tell me what they were.
Probably influence.
No.
Merits. I was going to go with untrackable, arcane. I was thinking Wormspeak.
As I mentioned, Wormspeak is an entirely underrated 1-point merit.
Mechanically, yes. In the world, not great. But that's okay. 3 more points.
Yeah, that's the thing. 3 more points of merits, Buck. What do you think?
Berserker? No, you can't take Berserker.
No, that's the thing. You
Longevity? No.
can't. Can you?
Yeah.
No.
Why not?
It's dumb.
No, I'm not saying if it makes sense. I'm saying can you physically take
I mean, you could.
longevity?
You're magical. You have Gnosis.
It does nothing for you.
Yeah.
I mean, you gain nothing in game.
It's probably in a lost episode, but I already went on my hate rant on the longevity background. We
Why?
get it. You were a history minor. You could just write a background that involves the last 100 years instead of the last 300 years.
What do you want to do?
Super jealous, huh?
Skill
Heroic
aptitude.
lineage, obvious.
Really?
Yeah,
Well, she has to pay full points.
that's 1.
Yep. 1 point. 2 left.
That's heroic lineage, and then she can either get code of honor. I mean, skill aptitude could come in handy. There's a lot of options.
I would
here.
take a skill aptitude.
Skill aptitudes are great.
What skill
Especially
aptitude would you take?
for this kinfolk?
Yeah.
I don't know what they do yet because we
Basic-
haven't talked about. They're around for being a skill-based character, right?
Yes.
Useful skills to have that actually require chops.
Academics?
Stealth is pretty huge, especially if you don't want to die.
Yeah. Because because if you go to their gifts are going to be.
Well, we'll take stealth. We'll take stealth for now.
If you plan on taking blur, take skill
Yeah,
aptitude.
Blur's
stealth.
one of them.
All right, so you get no starting gifts.
You
You
don't.
have to buy them all.
You have to buy them all.
Yeah.
I thought you were given.
No,
No.
it's not like a ghoul. You have to buy them all.
Oh, that changes. Some
Well, it's
stuff.
way more flexible than a ghoul. A ghoul can only ever have five disciplines, and they have to be things their Dometer has, and it's.
So we did everything else, and we have 36 XP,
We have 43 XP left to spend.
43 XP. Each gift costs 6. So if you get
Sorry, 35 left. Yeah, we have
35, so
left.
if you buy 5 gifts, you're down to 5 XP.
Pretty much.
So Blur, Spirit, Skin, and Mindweb, I think, are basically.
I feel like Mindweb is almost required.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can't communicate
All right,
with your
Blur.
That's-
So Blur.
That's the reason why we decided.
All right, what's your Blur?
I'm receiving some feedback from a certain somebody when I said fragile bones. Their reply was eek. And
so
to-
you
to-
have no affinity gifts.
Oh, do you have the chat up? I want to look
Yeah.
at that while you're doing it.
So you have to pay. You have to pay non-affinity cost for everything.
Sure, but I'm not sure I want to get gifts at this point. I mean,
You could just not buy gifts.
Yeah, you could just, and
Yeah,
you
you
could
just
buy
buy
them
them.
later.
Yeah.
Where's the...
You can just buy them later.
Yeah.
And we can dump all
into
35
skills.
into
Yeah.
skills. And if you get just every skill at 1.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Where's
Every
the-
skill at 1. Here we
How do
go. Let's see how many points that puts you back.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of interested just mathematically. You can do literally everything that needs doing. All right, so if you're a kinfolk, do you get that free lore?
They mentioned
everybody
Arcane,
else?
by the way.
What?
Arcane's pretty good.
Yeah, Arcane's great.
Yeah, you get Tribe and Nation for free.
That's even better.
All right. Oh wait, these are all blanks. I'm sorry. Got a little carried away. All right, so we have. I'm gonna sneeze. 27 XP left.
Jesus. That's after having every skill at 1. Are you starting to see the kinfolk upside now? Additionally, you have 2 extra downtimes, and what are your downtimes for? Your computer gives you another downtime, your science will give you another downtime.
If applicable.
Yeah, get your crafts downtime. Do you know what you do with all those downtimes? You fucking lend them.
Oh yeah, you're the den mother's best friend.
Not the den mothers. I mean, like
everybody.
The den
your whole
mother.
pack.
The den mother can command you, but the people that
your effective pack.
Your effective pack. But the people that you're friends with, they're like, oh, I really want to go on a quest. It's like, don't worry, I'll pick up your dry cleaning. You're good. Go on. I got it.
No, I got this.
No, I will house it.
Just give me the keys.
I will house
Give me
it.
the
Don't
keys.
worry about it.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you know how amazing that is? I used up 2 of my downtimes this in this previous session, and that's most of my downtimes. The ability to have somebody go, no, I got this.
That's all of them, I think.
Yeah, that is all of them. And the ability to somebody say, no, I got this, I can pick up your dry cleaning, is astonishing. If you go to every elder of the set and be like, I'm going to loan you 1 downtime apiece, they get used to it for 3 months. And then you say, hey, you were kind of dickish, you don't get your downtime this month. They're going to flip shit. It's going to be great.
I would probably plunk a whole bunch into traits. But there's really no... Here's the thing. There's really no rush. I would get stealth up and get dodge up. Because if you're ever going to be anywhere near the front line,
and you're not.
You kind of need
You're not.
those.
Here's the thing. All right, so if
Or to run away.
another way you could go with this is if you could dodge.
We could buy stealth all the way up to 6.
Another way you could go with this is you can drop some of your merits, pick up Fetish Savant, right? And just give me a second. You could drop your merits, pick up Fetish Savant. You get a bunch of fetishes. You pick up Blur. You stay in Blur. Supporting your fetishes over to people doesn't require a chop, thusly does not break Blur. So you can be supporting people from Blur constantly if you want to have a combat roll. Yeah, you can.
Then you're in the combat.
Or you could just get your fetishes, several of your fetishes to have synchronized. And
now
then
you're talking about. I mean, that's. Is there a character who's being written at the same time as this character?
No, the fetishes have to be written at the same time.
Oh, right.
as the
Okay.
fetishes. The characters don't.
Okay, that's
because
fair.
you can switch the characters around. Because fetish as a background is not an item.
No,
it
it is.
is merely
It's a
a
slot.
slot to be attuned.
Yes, absolutely.
And I cannot get this through people's heads enough. Well,
You're
that's
gonna
not,
need a
that's not the
theurge.
fetish I have.
No,
It's
I'm
like, well,
just
then
saying-
get a new fetish because you have background slots.
You be really nice to your Fianna.
Yeah,
they're crafting.
Be really nice to your Fianna. You know what you can do for them? You can use your crafting to free up one of their downtimes.
That's fair.
You are the most useful character in the set.
I mean, your kinfolk and your Fianna are probably the loneliest people in your sept, so it makes sense for them to hang out.
There is not a situation other than punching people in the face, which should be not the majority of your game. There's not a situation where you're not at least helpful. Everybody kind of likes having you around all the time. If
Well,
you
you
have
do
all your skills
all
at
the
one,
things.
you do
Yeah.
all the things. It's like, do you need somebody
Drive
to
is
babysit?
another good
Do you
one
need
to
somebody
have
to
on.
drive? Do you need somebody to research this? Academics.
I would say max.
With resources too, you have a house they can stay at. You can do anything and be the most helpful character.
I would probably max drive, because when the SD calls for a drive slot, it's because you decided to go like vertical in a tunnel.
I do
to like do some crazy.
I do have a
drift
question
stuff.
about drive. Does drive apply to helicopters?
If you take
You
drive
get a
helicopter-
spec for every dot of drive. So you can get car, bike, boat, helicopter,
motorcycle,
VTOL, the hovercraft.
motorcycle, big rig.
Sure.
You can have every
Double
license.
clutch. Yeah.
I mean, there you go. You can make yourself. You can have
I think you take drive once per everything you want to drive.
yeah. So 1 dot of drive.
I
every
thought it
time.
went the other way. You could drive anything that you had.
So it's even cheaper.
No,
no,
it's
it's the other way around.
Oh,
Actually, no, because you can buy drive 1 in a bunch of different things.
yes, that's what we're saying. So it's even
I don't-
cheaper.
I would have.
Well, according to the character sheet thing, that's the way it works.
Did you buy it past 1?
If you want, Chloe, you can totally be that.
Yes,
too.
I bought the 3.
Oh, I'm just saying. Well, Also, you get to build and repair. Not to use another Shadowrun term, but you get the BR skill for whatever drive you have. It's in the fluff of drive.
Yeah.
So if you have drive 5, you are also a mechanic of par excellence.
Yeah.
You don't actually need craft automobile.
So you can
We could change the skill attitude to drive.
Oh.
Just be the wheelman.
The problem with being the wheelman is somebody might try to shoot you in your car.
The problem? No, that's because you're not the wheelman. Has no one seen Magnum PI?
Not.
Yeah,
Look at
of
that
course
mustache. Of course he has.
Yeah, of course I have.
You fly the helicopter. They air assault in.
Or the blimp.
Why not attack Zeppelins?
Okay, I'll tell you why. Because vehicle combat, I don't think made it really into this cut. Except that if you're in a vehicle, it costs a standard action to shoot. Unless you have drive, then it's simple action. The problem is, how many health levels does your car have?
I don't know.
Oh, thank you, Canadian Mathlete. The spreadsheet is wrong. It is a different kind of vehicle for every dot.
Thank you.
Once again, Bucky is right, and this time the spreadsheet is wrong.
Guys, I'm here to help. Hit me up on Facebook.
So,
all right.
So literally every ability.
No, here's
and
the
you're
problem.
not, and literally every ability. And how much XP do you still have left?
I would be the drive. I
You
would
have
be
a-
the rigor of the team if you could. The problem is, I don't know how many health levels a car has. All I know is that it's probably 1, and you get 2 for free if the car is rugged.
You have 27 XP left.
So, because it's so ill-defined, and they never talked about, like, there are ways to break items, and they talk about
Can you
that.
jam tech a car?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So
Jam teching a helicopter would be unfortunate.
you can have a car fetish, and I know you can give it a quality so it has 5 health levels instead of the standard 2. I think most items have. The problem is all cars in the world of Darkness, all helicopters are all Pintos. They're all Pintos waiting to explode.
That's up to your
they're
ST.
they're Pintos that fly. No, it isn't. It's in the game. Things have set health levels, and there are powers that give them 5 health levels. So they're all waiting to explode Pintos.
Okay.
Which is a severe problem.
Okay, so we're going down the line. What else? We have, all right, backgrounds. We can just look at the backgrounds. Background costs for them are new XP levels. You can have every background at least 1.
Yeah. So let's buy it out of allies.
Why not? Alternate identity? Yeah, there you go.
Or you could have 7 health levels with a car, which
Fame,
is pretty
sure.
good.
Territory.
Yeah, you know what?
You can get
Territory.
to 7 with
Absolutely.
a fetish car.
Spirit attack? No.
Why not?
Okay, fine. Influence elite.
No, honestly, why not?
No, there's no reason not to. I mean,
Exactly.
Not to what?
to get
Spirit
Spirit
Pact.
Pact. You want Gnosis? Everybody wants Gnosis.
Spirit Pact is fine, and you can share it, just like Herd.
Exactly. What? Man, I really wish I could get some Gnosis.
Yeah, spend 15 minutes having a sandwich.
I got you.
Yeah, I got
You
super
can.
pro-
There's rarely a situation other than Stabby McStabs Lot Town where you can't be like, I got you. No, I got this.
All right, so now we have every ability and every background at 1, and we still have 19 points left.
I
At
mean, I would-
MC1.
Honestly-
at MC1, I don't know how else to stress that a Kinfolk is in every other way but punching pretty damn busted. I could get 3 gifts right now. Let's get Blur and Mind Link. Did we already get those?
Well, they cost
Right,
more.
hang on.
No, they don't.
Hang on.
They cost 6.
Hang on. Except for having wolf in sheep's clothing for
Oh, they
free
do?
and having influence, they are not mechanically better than a cub or a Cleoth.
But they're not mechanically better, but they have less responsibilities. No one expects them to go punching things.
I don't think anybody is heaping too much responsibility on the Cleoth.
Yeah,
Or the cub.
Level times 6.
The cub's not expected
You,
to
you
punch
said not
things.
even the Cubs. Kinfolk have a better niche than Cubs. They're
I
not
think so,
expect. Yeah. And then Cleoths are expected to go fight. That's bullshit that they're not. No,
Yeah.
no. Like Cleoths are expected. Cleoths went out on fights at our last game. They're gonna go on fights.
That's true.
And you know how
Everybody
you can
started
and,
low rank.
and do you know how you can tell they have to go on fight? Because how the fuck all else are they gonna rank?
All right.
They have to go do things.
What's their
Wisdom
what are
They don't
their
actually get
gift?
glory.
Blur of the Milky Eye,
Blur of the Milky Eye, Spirit Skin because they want to avoid spirits, and Mind Speech. There's 3.
and those are all level 1s. They're all
Mind speech is super important. I would
Mind
look
web.
at the level
web.
2s. They only get 5 gifts
well, we're
ever.
out of points.
Oh, okay.
That's it.
I'd love persuasion though.
So we're not.
Why? What does Persuasion do? And by the way, Persuasion's a chop, and I hate those for this character.
All right, that's fair.
So here's our character. We're not really hyper focused.
Oh, the one thing you could also get besides that is wolf senses.
Well, you don't have any points. You have to cut 6 points somewhere.
Yeah,
We can get that with the first month's XP.
Oh, yeah,
wolf senses.
yeah.
don't. Honestly, I would say just take acute sense as the merit.
Why not just take wolf senses?
I mean, you could.
Yeah, and then you know what their only
Or you
rank.
could take both,
do you
so
know-
it's more
and do you-
gnosis
and
efficient.
do you know what their only rank 2 is going to be? The best rank 2 to get for them? Jam Tech.
If they can get a rank 2 and they don't
They can't
get
get a rank
Awakened
2.
Minor Spirit and they're not in focus, they're not the best kinfolk.
Okay, they can do
Just
that.
definitionally. If they can't summon a swarm of gafflings, they are infinitely less useful than someone who can.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's
Did
see.
you pick attribute focuses yet?
No, not yet.
No, yeah.
This
Intelligence.
is the last thing we have left.
Why int?
so they can summon their occult in Gafflings,
Okay, and
who are stock 3.
They have an
who will actually have more gifts than they have.
Yeah.
Which is Gafflings, they need your help. It's cool, bro. We got you, and we got rank 3 gifts to back it up.
Which I don't have.
Wait. So
Right, don't worry, powerful sister.
Check this out. You're a Garu and you need healing.
Yes.
I don't have Mother's Touch because I didn't get it. But you know what?
I got 5 friends.
I
with
know
Mother's
a
Touch.
guy.
Oh, actually, you might want to switch the skill
no.
aptitude to occult.
Okay.
Because drive at 5 is good enough.
Right now, your
stealth
cult
at 5
is
is good enough.
for what it's worth. Your cult is at 1 right now.
Yeah, but skills
is
are so
later.
cheap. They're gonna get a new skill at 5 pretty much every other session.
Okay.
So, and now let's talk about the fetishes that I like.
Well, let's get 2 more focuses. We're almost done. Social focus.
Manipulation because it's the best.
Mm-hmm. That was what to look at. And
Well,
physical.
you don't have anything that requires.
Dex because they have to run.
Yep.
Yes, just for the dodge.
Just for the dodge. So
Let's make some
Well,
fetishes.
they're never gonna have
well,
Blabros,
here's
so
the
it doesn't
thing.
really matter.
You can have a ton of. They have 3 points of fetish, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's no point in making fetishes now
No, you don't have to make them now. No.
because you don't
It's
have to
Dex
make them
for
now.
running.
Right,
That's why
and the
they
reason,
have it.
and here's the thing: things that ideas that you might want to get with fetishes. Remember that long range silver idea you can do because you don't have to have silver tolerance. You're kinfolk. It's not a thing for you.
Yeah.
So you can absolutely have a long range silver sniper rifle. Put that to the side. Your
I
next,
just did.
yeah, your next fetish. You could have a fetish.
Or the
car.
long range silver sniper rifle isn't the fetish.
Yeah, you could just fetish. You could. Okay.
The sidearm that's insulated, that's full time,
And supportive.
accurate and silent, is supportive because you only need accurate on your raid shops because they're trick shotting.
No,
There's a whole process, but
you don't need. You can just get unerring and spend the gnosis when you really want to hit.
Unerring's
I'm out
2?
of, I'm out of gnosis. Ah, man, I wish I could summon a spirit to give me some. I know a guy.
Right, but now we're talking about being in combat. All right,
Yeah.
we're running out of time.
You
which is
can be in combat because you're blurred, you're spirit skinned, you're hidden. This is if you're running and you want to take a pot shot, but generally you're just trying to get away. You can have
fetish car.
You can have
I think
they
they have a good idea because you can get it up to 7 health levels, and that's almost riding a character's worth of health levels.
non-combat fetishes, things that make you better at your chops, things that make you better at your skills. Having every item that has proficient. What's the one that gives you the plus the trait for just regular equipment? Superior times 2 for everything you an item that gives you superior times 2 for every skill because
my
you
tie,
have
my
every
socks,
skill.
everything.
You get it up in 90 seconds. All right. Well, that pretty much covers it. There's your 3 sheets. Guys, it's been a pleasure. We're gonna see you in 2 weeks with another episode.
Oh, what?
Oh, I did want to ask what if they want or we're just going to be doing the one tribe, one breed.
Yeah, we'll cover one in every episode. Yeah.
And do we want to gift merit redux episode?
You can absolutely ask those questions on Talking About Werewolves.
And
the
talking
fan
about
page.
werewolves, the fan page.
And we'll put up those questions. You guys can answer and give your opinions. Also, feel free to post any questions, comments, concerns, or desires to see in any other episodes on Talking About Werewolves, the Facebook fan book page.
Guys, we'll see you in 2 weeks. We might have a special episode to talk vampires, but we'll let you know when that's happening. Peace.